back.
We're live, dude.
That was a good first line.
Love it.
Welcome.
How you doing, boys? Nick,
Good,
welcome
good.
back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back for your first ever threesome.
Yeah, this is my first three-way. Steve, you're actually the second guest. I was talking to Scotty about this. Scotty was the first guest who did the first podcast and the second podcast. You're officially number 2, bud.
Nice.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Thanks for coming down, dude.
Yeah. Absolutely. I was mowing the lawn, but I stopped. But I got to get the Jareds.
This is more fun.
Yeah.
This is a lot more
This is
fun.
way more fun.
Real quick, for people that don't know, just tell them real quick who you are, what you do.
Murphy.
You skipped your fucking whole first name.
You know, my job, we had a Steve. And that's sad. And so I became Murphy because, And in fact, I just learned we had the same first and middle name.
You can only have one Steve, like
exactly.
Highlander.
Exactly.
In the end, that can only be one.
So yeah, I'm a longtime musician, not techno nerd, software developer, and I don't know, executive producer of Scenes for My Hat. So, which is a public access TV show that no one knows about.
Hey man, that's where Tom Green got started. Though, man. Don't knock it just because it's low budget. I mean, look at what I'm doing. Nobody knows about this shit either, buddy. Nobody's watching this one either. Nah, but it's fun, man. We do this shit. We do this shit because we like it.
Yeah.
If people like it and they find it, then fucking good for them.
Yeah. Hey, I just wanted to say on the last podcast you had recommended The Outsider to watch.
Oh yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
Dude, have you seen The Outsider?
I have not.
Jason fucking Bateman, man, hitting home runs.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Jason Bateman, he seems like a pretty legit dude, right? Like, seems like a fucking awesome, sweet-ass dude you'd want to hang out with. Mm-hmm. You guys know who Mac Lethal is?
Who?
Mac Lethal. He's a rapper, a white dude online, fucking speed raps. He did, like, the alphabet rap.
Nope.
I don't follow white rappers, man.
You racist son of a bitch. Well, he went on Ellen, and on that same episode, he met Jason Bateman, right? Because Jason Bateman was on that episode with him. And, you know, Ellen's under fire right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mac Lethal was like, well, here's the deal. Ellen was dope. Jason Bateman's a fucking dick. Yeah, dude.
That.
I don't really remember all the details because it was like a half-hour long story on his fucking YouTube channel, and I was doing it while I was cleaning, so I came in and out of it. But I caught that part, man. He seems like a super sweet dude, but apparently he might possibly be
a dick.
Little insane.
This is Ted.
So how's the show going, buddy?
Well, you know, we had to switch to online because they closed the studio for a while.
Where were you doing this most recently?
Well, most recently was at Inver Grove Heights Town Square Television Studio, and then they shut that down. You know, closed it because of COVID, and we were almost we had a show lined up for the House of Comedy.
That's what I remember.
Yeah,
and that was going on
America.
a couple of years ago.
We did
when you came on.
Yeah,
that was like your big news back then.
We did
you were
3.
Like, yeah, you were like, we just signed up for this, but you hadn't done them yet. It was still a while down the road.
Yeah, exactly. And we've done 3, and it was great. And we sold the house out, and they were really surprised. So, but we were set up for a 4th one, and gone.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
they just didn't dig it, huh?
Well, no, it got shut down. They closed the club.
Because of fucking COVID.
Is it open now?
I don't know.
Oh,
we haven't heard.
I think so. I had Randy on the podcast. He's a stand-up comedian, and he said they opened it a few weeks ago.
Okay.
But no one's going.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And he said part of it's really strange because the Mall of America, their rules at the time were you only had to wear a mask when you were in one of the stores, but in the mall itself, you didn't have to have a mask on.
Nice.
So, like, think about that. So, like, you're walking through Camp Snoopy or whatever it's called now.
Yeah.
And you don't have to wear a mask, but you go into fucking Bed Bath & Beyond to buy some soap, and suddenly you have to put... It's like, I get it, but you should probably have a mask on the whole time.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'd rather have a mask in the hallways
right.
than in sitting in a House of Comedy.
For real, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got to be awkward doing any of that kind of public shit. Music got hit pretty hard with all that. Everyone's trying to pivot and figure out what the fuck they're gonna do. And me and Kate were talking today. It's like, y'all motherfuckers better be writing.
Yeah,
you better be writing the shit out of your music, dude.
Hell yeah, got the time.
There's no fucking concerts.
Well, my son and I were able to go to 2 right before COVID hit. So
who'd you see?
We saw Foo Fighters in November of 19, and then we saw Korn February of 2020, and then COVID hit like a month later, something like that. So that was nice. But they're like coming up with this thing for outdoor festivals where they're making platforms for people. They're making platforms for people that are like 6 or 7 feet apart, and they have like a little fence around it. And you got your own private little area.
And you can have up to like 4 people, or you can have 2 people with a table.
If I can bring my own lazy boy, that'll be perfect.
Oh, dude, that would be.
No, they have chairs. Perfect. But dude, I was like, I don't know if I would go see a concert like that, but I might for the right band.
Yeah.
And as long as the price is reasonable, and that's what's not going to happen, right?
Right.
Because there's a whole economic factor here. So yeah, they're doing that, but for that square where you could have up to 4 people, and then the 6 feet in between, they're losing all of those ticket sales, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So in order for them to make their nut, because whether most people realize this or not, concert promoters usually lose money. Like, you rarely make guaranteed money every time you book a concert. You have to pay the band $20,000. You have to pay the sound guy $5,000. You have to either rent the room or the facilities. There's all kind. Yeah, you might be able to get Monster or somebody to come in and fucking give you money and sponsorship and shit, but usually you're running a risk. And from what I've heard is you're like, you lose a little, you break even, you lose a little, you make a fuck ton on like that 5th show. And then that's what keeps you afloat, to lose a little on the next 3 or 4 until you make a lot, right? But it's a hard business. It's a tough business. So basically where I'm going with this is tickets are just going to get more expensive.
Right.
So it's just going to get harder to go to concerts, like fucking football games, I can't even afford to go to a goddamn NFL game anymore unless you buy season tickets.
I don't think we'll see any type of concert until probably next spring.
At the earliest.
Right. I think we're going to see a football season, but it's going to be rocky.
Yep.
And
football
if
season
anything,
without fans for sure.
If anything, I think it'll go probably 14 weeks. If they can keep it going that long, then you can still have the playoffs.
You think they might cut the season short? I don't think
it depends, because look what's happening to some MLB teams and NBA teams. They're getting a lot of players that are getting COVID, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
And there's more close interaction contact in football than there is in baseball.
And there's more people on the field.
More people.
How are you guys dealing with this shit with everything being shut down? Because running a comedy show.
Yeah.
So what did you guys move online?
We just went online.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
How weird is that?
It is very weird. It's like heads in a box.
It's got to be hard enough to be funny in general.
Yeah, you're being funny to your webcam.
Right.
Yeah.
With no crowd.
Yeah. I even had
That's got to be so awkward. Can you imagine that, dude?
I had a laugh track, and I fed that into Zoom so that the players could hear it.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and I nixed it eventually. But yeah.
Clear, obviously. I was just going to ask you, how long did that last?
No, a few episodes, but...
pull that a little closer to you.
Yeah,
You're a little quiet. There you go. That's much better. That's much better.
Is it supposed to be hitting my cheek like this?
I mean, I always tell people, here's what I tell guys, is keep it about 2, maybe 3 fingers away. Right. And then that volume is where you want to be.
Okay. Yeah, you might want to get rid of
that's only one.
Luckily, we got rid of the noise gate problem that we had with Nick's first appearance. That was my shoddy audio engineering. That's why I shouldn't ever mix or master my own fucking record. Dude, whatever, man. I'm trying.
No, it sounded great. It sounded great. We were listening to it before. It sounded great.
I mean, it works.
Yeah.
It sounds good enough, but the shit that sounded good is the stuff that Dalton did. That's not the stuff I did. Yeah, I fucking basically went over there, recorded my guitars, and then Dalton picked them up. And I don't know how he did it, what he did. I don't know. I mean, there's a bunch of different terms of reamping and some other shit. And he just made him suddenly sound good. But, dude, can you imagine doing this? Like, how fucking hard was it for us to play shows to 0 people? At the beginning, it was a little eager or a little fine because you were eager just to play a show, right?
Oh, yeah.
But imagine...
That's all you really wanted to do.
But imagine, like... doing something where you're regularly playing in front of people and then all of a sudden now, like, imagine us putting the band back together, right? And we decide to do an online concert. And I'm like, come on, guys, your energy's not fucking good enough, dude. The audience is out there watching, and you're like, dude, it's a fucking webcam. bro, these fucking assholes are sitting at home on their couches, dude. Nobody's moshing in their living room. Right?
Somebody just chatted, turn it up.
Bring the energy, boys. Bring the energy. Come on, guys, let's be professionals. It's so fucking stupid. It's gotta be one of the most difficult jobs out there, dude. I can't imagine
a bunch of horn emojis.
yeah, right. Dude, I'm serious, man. Like I can't imagine being a comic without a crowd.
Oh man.
And dude, the big guys are doing it too, man.
Yeah.
I've seen them. I've seen these.
Well,
videos.
they're starting to do them at drive-ins.
Kreischer.
Oh,
my boy Bert Kreischer. Yeah.
The
Nice.
who was the video that I sent, or that you sent me? The guy, the Flamingo song. What's his name?
Mark Ribelle.
Is that it?
Mike Ribelle.
The guy is funny,
dude. That dude's awesome. Do you know who he's talking about?
No.
He's doing drive-in concerts.
Oh, nice.
I wish we could play shit like that without getting flagged. So he basically, he's awesome. He's an amazing, honestly, a fucking breathtaking level of musicianship here. So it's what he does is you call in or you go in the live chat and you type in a random word.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So like flamingos. And then is what he does is he starts off with something. Sometimes it's a shaker. Sometimes it's a drum beat that he's programming on his keyboard. Sometimes it's an organ riff he's playing. Sometimes it's a bass line. And then he plays something until he digs it, right? And then all of a sudden he fucking jumps over, hits fucking record, and then boom, it's on a loop.
It's on a loop,
and then he adds and he adds and he adds. And then once he builds and he gets his like on the fly song, he starts singing over it, and the guy is goddamn hilarious because he's always in his underwear, like real underwear, not boxers, like
tiny
little kid. No, like the colored briefs, like blue briefs with like the white binding or lacing, whatever you call it, right? Like he looks like a 10-year-old boy, and so, most of the time he also has like either a silk robe or some sort of robe on, and sometimes it's tied, sometimes it's not, and dude. And he looks like the whitest. He's French, but he looks like the whitest dude on the planet. But he just kills it, bro. Yeah. Like he'll make hip hop, he'll make fucking soul, he'll make jazz, he'll make blues. Dude, he's such a talented musician. Yeah. And there's so many people that know about him and have seen his work, but they don't realize it's like this guy that we're talking about right now until I just described him in his fucking underwear.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that guy.
Oh man.
He I was watching one of his videos and he recommended a 70s what do you call it? Hip hop 70s. It's pretty good. I'm trying to find the name. That was where I was going with this, and my phone just shut off. But it's really good.
Did you not pay your bill?
I paid my bill. I closed it. I was the idiot that closed it. But anyway,
hey man,
but
no
he's funny. So,
you.
so
it's
he's
COVID.
doing.
We're all having economic problems.
He's doing the drive-through stand-up. That's what I was getting at, and a lot of comedians are doing the same thing.
Well, he's like the weird kind of hybrid between a comedian and a musician.
Yeah,
and I feel like his shit works really well at a drive-in. And a guy like Bert Kreischer, who, you know, it sucks. I feel bad for saying this, but it's kind of like what he's built as his brand. Because trust me, he's way smarter than this. But he's got like a real frat guy vibe. Like not in a douchey way, but in a like fucking, he is the party type. When he shows up, it's like, oh, we're going to have some fucking fun tonight. Even if you don't get smashed with him, he has this image of like being a huge drinker, right? But he doesn't get drunk before he goes on stage. He's adamant about this. Like he'll walk on stage with a beer and take a sip and set it down, and he'll like take a couple more sips throughout his hour-long set. He does 60 minutes. He's a headliner. He doesn't drink until afterwards. Yeah, but then he gets fucked up.
So he starts American and then goes European. All
pretty much, or the other way.
Yeah,
or he starts European and goes American.
Well, cold to warm.
Oh, I gotcha.
Did you know that theaters are opening next week? AMC is finally going to open.
What are they opening? 5 in the area?
I don't know. All I heard is that they were opening.
Hold on, I'll fix it for you. Just get comfortable. And then
All I heard is that they're opening. They're opening all their locations, and the first day that they're open, it's like 15-cent movie day or whatever. But
15-cent movie day. What is
yeah.
this? 1918?
No, it's just it's for one day.
That's exactly.
It's for one day. It's like an anniversary thing.
It's when they opened. Yeah,
but they
back in
don't-
1920 or 18 or something like that.
Sometime in the 80s, I think,
Or-
wasn't it? Or I don't. I have
Or are
no
we
idea.
talking about movie theaters in
I don't know,
general?
it's
No,
like
AMC. It's their thing.
1870 or something like that.
But are you talking about when
they
AMC
opened.
was founded,
Yeah.
or when movie
When-
theaters were
No,
invented?
when AMC first started, airing or not airing, but showing stuff on the film.
Gotcha.
On the big screen.
Okay. So this is like their 140-year anniversary or some shit.
Yeah.
But there's
It's
nothing-
1880.
But there's nothing to show. There's nothing out there, man. I
That
looked at the
New
movies.
Mutants, New Mutants with the old girl from Game of Thrones, Arya.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah,
New movie.
yeah.
That's the only one that's coming
Here's
out.
the thing: I ain't going to no motherfucking movie theater, man. I ain't doing it, bro. I'm not afraid of dying. Is what I'm afraid of is being asymptomatic and murdering my grandmother without
Right.
knowing it.
Right.
You know, like fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Plus, seriously, like we can legally do this podcast. You know, even though we're not properly socially distanced, we're under a certain group amount.
Mhm.
But dude, you're skyrocketing over that fucking number
Yeah.
if you go to a movie theater. And they're already shutting down fucking restaurants because they're having tiny outbreaks and shit. You know what I
Right.
mean?
And
Right.
school in Georgia.
Yeah.
Dude,
School.
I ain't going to no motherfucking movie theater, bro.
Yeah.
2 hours in a fucking room where fucking people are the nastiest they can be.
You know what they're doing in St. Michael? They're showing movies on the side of the building. They're doing a drive up.
Dude, that's dope.
A drive-in.
That's
Good
dope.
idea.
Yeah.
I want to do something like that here in the backyard.
Yeah.
I want to go rent like a
There
small,
you go.
either that or I want to figure out how to get it hooked up to my own fucking stereo, like get some outdoor speakers. I have the outdoor speakers. I just don't have them hooked up yet. I got to get like fucking 500 feet of,
Right.
what do they call it? E5 or some
E5,
shit like that, or
yeah.
E3 or 3E, whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? The underground shit
Yeah.
that carries it's like 14 gauge to carry the length.
Yep.
Yeah, and then fucking I got a big ass fucking wall with almost nothing on it, and it's white. I was looking at it and I'm like, man,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be that much logistically to like hang a giant sheet like with some dowels, kind of like what I did here, right? Put one at the bottom, one at the top to keep tension, and just put that fucker right on the side of my house. Boom, projector.
Yeah.
And just do our own little fucking outdoor
you go.
movie night.
There you go.
Because I don't think, dude, I'm telling you, bro, I don't think this shit's ending anytime soon.
No.
I think we're
agree.
going through next summer.
Well,
I really
just
do.
having kids in school right now is really frustrating. Do you have any children?
I got 4.
Oh, you got 4. Okay, then you know exactly what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
yeah.
Like, I don't know what the district's like over by where you live, but in Coon Rapids, we still don't know like how many days a week they're going to go to school, how many days a week are they going to stay at home. Right now, it's 2 and 3, 2 in and then 3 at home. But
Is it every other then, or is it 2 days on, 3 days off? Or are they going every other day? So
I
like
don't know.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they're at home. Tuesday, Thursday, they go to school.
I don't know.
They don't even have that.
No, we'll probably have that by Friday. They told us that the 21st they'd know what the schedules will be. But
Right.
I don't mind if my son goes back to school. It's high school. They're a little more aware. They're more mature, washing their hands and not being stupid. But kids in elementary school, I mean, kids are gross. I'm
Right.
sorry. They don't
Yeah.
they don't know how to wash their hands. They're touching their face all the time.
No.
So I'm more worried about my daughter going back to school than I am my son. But I agree with you. I think sometime in October, maybe early November, you're going to start seeing schools close again, malls. I don't think we're going to have a Black Friday this year. I think Christmas sales are going to be super down this year.
A bunch of them already said they're not doing a Black Friday.
Yeah.
They're not.
They
even,
might do an online thing, but people actually
Cyber
going to
Monday.
the malls. It's so that's what I think. And then I think in the springtime, I think it's going to start leveling out. Get through the winter. Everybody just stay inside. Do whatever, and then I
that's
think by
where it
spring,
spreads the most.
in the winter time because the air's more thin, so it travels farther. People.
I mean,
sneezing
even in
and
the
coughing
summertime, like that's the thing is like they should have opened it up over the summer because it spreads less when you're outside.
Right.
They keep everybody shut down. They all huddle together in groups of 10 or less, and it's just this like it's like a fast burning, slow burning almost like napalm. You know what I mean? It just stays there.
Yeah.
Where if
Just
they would have just
hangs.
opened shit up,
Right.
it would have ripped through without devastating everything, because it's still summer, right? Let people do shit outside. Like how fucking California was closing down the beaches and shit, you guys. Like that's the last place you want to close down. It's dead almost instantly in sunlight. Almost instantly, right? So it's like, fuck, guys, let us go outside and have a summer at least, because you know goddamn well come wintertime when flu season and cold season show up.
Yeah, you get the triple whammy now.
Dude, you're talking, and that's the thing is like, okay, so you catch COVID, but you would have been asymptomatic, but then you also caught the fucking new flu.
Yeah.
Boom. Right. Now you definitely are getting pneumonia. And now people that normally wouldn't have been at risk now are at even greater risk than normal, and you're going to get hit because the winter's already bad. You know what I mean? I don't know, dude. It's just I'm not pretending I know what I'm talking about as far as solutions.
I agree.
But I can see flaws.
You're going to see a lot of spikes in a
My-
lot of issues, and
My kids are staying home.
so your kids are staying home.
Yeah, they're staying home. They're doing it
because they left it
online.
up to the districts, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is smart.
Yeah. Well, they're ultimately leaving it up to the parent, I think is what it's going to come down to.
Which is, I think, is probably the best case.
But the problem with us is that my son, he has to go to the school if they're open. It's more of a structured environment. He's more comfortable there. So we would want him to go. And he's in high school, and these are important years. So, but my daughter last year did very well. She went through her curriculum, and she did a great job, and she was on time. But that's because my wife was home, because they closed her company down and she was working from home.
Sure.
She can't be home by herself, and that's the dilemma that we're facing right now. She can't take a bunch of time. I can take 2 days off during the week because I work in the serving industry, but it's really frustrating. We don't really know what to do at this point.
Right.
So.
I mean,
that's my opinion on it.
I mean, nobody knows what to do, you know, but that's why I was saying I think it is good that they're leaving it up to the parents ultimately, or the districts, because if the federal government or even a state tried to come down and be like, this is what we got to do, and it's like, I don't know, man, because I've been reading these things that certain kids are thriving at home with the at-home school shit, and other kids are like bombing. They're like they're like failing out. Like there's an entire percentage of children, I don't remember what it was, but it was a significant amount that like aren't going to pass the grade.
Right.
Like,
well, they're not getting the social interaction that they need online.
Yeah.
They need to,
and I think that's the most
include
important thing about school. Would you?
Yeah, they need to have sessions in like Zoom or whatever where they can all the kids get together,
right,
and interact socially.
Yep.
Well,
that's what they're missing.
Here's what I think they missed last year. They had to come up with a plan just off the bat. I mean, you kind of have to, because the system that they had, they put it together in like 2 weeks and maybe 3 on how they were going to do this from home. And there were a lot of issues, a lot of flaws. But now I think that they've had the time to put something together that's more structured, you know, because last year my son could jump online. He had to be in this homeroom thing at like 8 something in the morning or 6 something. He would just jump on there for 30 seconds and then turn it off. All he had to get was he was there.
Yeah.
They don't look at how long they were there. It was just, it wasn't very well organized. And, but I think this year it's going to be a lot better.
Have you
like
seen the
saying.
videos of the kids taking over the class? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I haven't seen
So there's all these stupid TikTok challenges going around. So these kids are all in their class, right? And it looks like the screen from the Brady Bunch, only there's 30 of them. Yeah. And the teacher's right in the middle, and she's sitting there talking with the that kind of voice, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden she's like, why is there music? Oh my God, why are all of you kids dancing? I told you no more music and dancing. Stop this right now. And all the kids are doing like a choreographed dance because somebody fucking put their music in the Zoom meeting and shared it. So it's like perfectly synced to everyone's screens and shit. And everyone's doing this fucking dance. And dude, the teachers have no control.
They had to do something for them to have fun. I mean, you're cooped up in the house for going on.
I'm not
months.
talking shit about them kids. I'm just saying the teachers have no control. They have no ability.
Well, they didn't have
like,
control of them in the school either.
I mean, they had a little bit more. They could at least send them to the principal's office or something. Now it's like, I'm gonna mute your screen and put you on black. And they're like, all right, cool, I'll go swimming, bitch.
Last year's grades didn't even count. Do you have kids in high school?
No. Starting.
Starting last year.
At first, I thought you couldn't remember. Well,
I can't remember their
maybe.
names.
How old are they?
What grade they're in?
How many kids do I have?
Yeah,
well,
last
one's out,
year's,
so I got 3.
last year's grades didn't even count. As long as they got the assignments in, they got the credit for it.
I know. I was like, how did you pass? I
don't know. I just did the assignments. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
she didn't do the assignments. She just.
But if they have to do it, I think that schools are going to close in October, and we're going to be right back to home. You know, whatever.
I think a second shutdown's coming for sure.
Yeah,
I think a second
for sure.
shutdown will definitely come in the winter. And that's the thing is like, I don't think anybody would have been doing it the right way. So I'm not trying to sit here and fucking vilify and condemn everyone like a lot of people have, because it just doesn't make sense for me to do that. Because it's like, I look at whether it's Trump as a president or some of these Democratic mayors, right? Mm-hmm. And everyone is like, whoever you don't like, these are the reasons that everything is their fault. And it's like, dude, I don't know about all that, man. Like, I don't know if Governor Walz or any of these other fucks could have done anything else, really. Because any reaction would have been an overreaction. And then the fact that they waited because of an overreaction or a fear of an overreaction, then it was an underreaction and they didn't do enough. Mm-hmm. It's that old adage, like, you can please some of the people all the time or all the people some of the time. Yeah. I think that's exactly where we're at right now. Like, nobody was going to be happy 100% of the time. Yeah. And you're never going to get everybody on the same page. I mean, this is this is America. Yeah. Let's face it. You know, and I think we have legitimate, huge, actual laws in place preventing a lot of the things that people wanted, like just shut it down, just do this, it's like, you can't. Not here. Why didn't we do it like New Zealand? Why didn't we do it like this country? We can't. Like, that's the fucking point. like we have all these laws in place preventing the government from doing X, Y, and Z, because all those other countries, they also don't have the same freedoms we have.
No.
You know, you have your silly little show. Yep. If you wanted to do a Hitler sketch, guess what? You're not going to jail. Right. You might fucking lose a bunch of fans, right? Unless they understand the context of the joke. You know, like, I've seen Hitler sketches that are fucking hilarious because at the end of the day, they're making fun of Hitler. Exactly. If you'd fucking listen to them. Yeah. But in England, in the UK, different you go to jail for that shit. There is no freedom of speech. Yep. You know what I mean? I mean, that's fucking terrifying. Yeah. So, I'll take it, is basically what I'm getting at. I'll take the chaos of America not handling this crisis properly, because we have all these other things that are, you know, much more important for us to preserve. So, you know, whatever. Very true.
Yeah.
That's the sound of dead.
I was going to say something, but I wanted that awkward silence to happen.
I knew you were doing that too. I did. I knew you were doing it because I knew you seen me burping, and you're like, I'm just going to let this out for a minute.
I'm just going to wait.
Fucking son of a bitch.
So, who's excited for football?
I'm fucking
I've been
pumped.
meaning to talk to you about that. Are you playing fantasy this year?
I don't
at
know.
all.
I don't know.
Do you play fantasy football?
I mean, I do. I play fantasy every year.
No.
But
you what?
I play fantasy every year, but I usually just doing like a random free league.
Oh.
And I just try to find one. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, like, unless I can get like a guaranteed, like, good, the top 5 or 6 guys get paid out, I'm just not willing to risk real money gambling. I'll go play some blackjack every once in a while. I'm just not a gambling guy. And bottom line is, like, it's not gambling because there's a lot of skill involved, but it is gambling. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because like, you don't know how good the other guys are.
Right.
And you can't like sit down and like put in extra hours that week. It's like, your roster's your roster, bitch. You know, it's like you ain't going out there and scoring touchdowns. So I don't know. I want to join one of those cool leagues. I saw your post.
Oh, for the spot that I had.
League? Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, a league that I've had for going on year 3, so it's a lot of fun. You know, it keeps me busy during the winter because I don't go out much in the winter. It's too damn cold.
You don't go out much at all.
No, I
do.
You don't
do shit.
I mean,
a little bit more now that you got kids.
I haven't been able to since COVID. You know,
as fuck. I've run him for 20 years. He never leaves the house at all.
I haven't gone out in 19 years. This is the first time.
It's such a dark place out there these days.
It's
I was just talking to my parents about that, and
really,
they
How
were
are they
were
doing, by the
telling
way?
me they're doing well. They've got
Are they
a couple
still down
of bad
in North
storms.
Carolina?
South Carolina.
South Carolina.
They're in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina.
Sorry to hear that.
They like it. It's a nice town where they live. But they were just telling we were talking about the difference in kids and being able to play outside and to how late. And I'm 42, so my years were in the 80s, and I remember being outside and being able to play and kick the can till the light came on. We left after breakfast, came back after dinner, whatever.
Did you walk uphill both ways in snow to school too?
No, they did
Fucking
that. I didn't do
boomer.
that. That's their generation thing. So, and we remember, and then we were talking about today, like with my kids, my daughter mostly. I can't let her go to the park by herself. Too many fucking maniacs out there today.
Yeah.
Too many fucking maniacs. And
How old is she now?
She's 10.
So still not old enough to carry a knife. Because
she could.
Good. She's capable of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want her carrying a knife yet, though. She doesn't. Get 3 more years. When she hits 13, then she's got the speed and the agility to stab a dude in his inner thigh and twist.
Yep.
Fucking, yeah.
I think my daughter would do that today, man. She's she get on her bad side.
Did she just
Butterfly
whip on a
knife.
butterfly
knife?
She's 10.
My daughter's knuckles are all cut up.
Nah, tough bitches run in our family, so I'm not surprised. I'm not, man, because dude, Jamie was a classic girl, like very feminine, very pretty, not tough. But her sister Christine, my cousin Christine was a bad bitch. Christine used to beat up my buddies. like for real, and she was like 9 months younger than me, right? So like she's beating up 14-year-old dudes. She's like 12, and she's whooping their ass. Not like they're not fighting back. Like she would fucking beat them up. I'd bring her out to play football, and it was that class. It was like a reverse scenario of like white boy can't jump. Only it was like white girl can't play, right? So it's me going out there, and it'd be 2 dudes, 3 dudes, 4 dudes on the same amount, right? So 4 on 4, 5 on 5, whatever. Football. So there's a lot of running, not a lot of passing, and a lot of tackling. And dude, they'd be like, I'd let them pick first, right? And I'd pick Christine. Christine would always be my first pick. And everyone would start laughing, and I was really fucking good. And Christine was tough as nails. Her and I would go out there and own motherfuckers, like for real, dude. Like fuck them up, hurt people, dude. And Christine and I'd walk off the field and just give each other a quick little high five, dude. She's fucking awesome. So I'm not surprised when you talk about fucking Kira like that. Yeah. Amara might end up being the same thing, especially with who her dad is, because.
Yep. Yep. My daughter definitely takes after me for sure when it comes to standing her ground. Which is nice to see, but need to keep a watchful eye on it. Don't want to let it get out of control.
Yeah, she'll fucking run around and start stabbing people. Here you go, Kira. This is if anybody fucks with you. Okay. I can see the maniacal look on her face, like, really? All of a sudden, you get a call from school. Mr. Durkin, we have 7 stab victims. All boys.
Hey, did I ever...
Kira, why'd you stab all these boys? I didn't like the way they were looking at me. You're gonna make a serial killer. The 3rd season of Making a Murderer is 17-year-old Kira Durkin. She killed 17 boys at her high school.
Should be the only one walking down the hallway.
Sorry. I'm just kidding. Kira knows I love her.
Do you know exactly what happened to me a couple months ago when I was really ill? Did you see those videos?
No. I seen that you posted videos, but I didn't watch them.
Well,
because I'm a great friend.
That's all good, bro. No, it's just I got really ill from your parents' 4th of July barbecue. Didn't hear about that?
Nope. Wasn't there.
Yep. I know.
Yep.
Anywho, we're gonna move past that one, sir.
Dude, there was a lot of drama.
No.
There was a lot of drama. We'll leave it at
let's
that.
move that one.
Moving on. Or we could tell the whole
Maybe
story and
for
just do a
another
jump
show.
cut.
There you go.
Jump cut. All right, guys, welcome back.
Anywho, yeah, it was, Jamie's mom's neighbor.
Billy.
Yeah, he was making food, kebabs or whatever,
Mhm.
and
Someone was a
bad
little
piece of
undercooked.
chicken.
Oh,
Bro. Oh, have you ever had that? You ever had food poisoning?
Yeah.
yes.
Have you-
Yeah, a couple times. Yeah,
from
mild food
Sucks.
poisoning, and it still almost ruined my life. So I can't imagine getting.
I got
raw
mine
chicken.
from Taco, and I can't say the last name.
Yeah, you can.
I can.
There's only two of them. It's either Bell or John's.
It's John's, those fuckers.
Why wouldn't you be able to say the last name of a place that's known for giving people food poisoning? That'd be like saying I can't say Chipotle.
I can't.
Like, dude, how many times did they get shut down for salmonella?
Right?
Like, and no one watches this, so you're not getting sued.
Yeah, I had the flu too at the same time.
It's
those are
terrible.
the worst. That was the worst.
It's so bad.
I only got mild food poisoning, and it was cooked food that was left out too long. Both times I got
Really?
it, or all three
Wow.
times. So like one time we made spaghetti and it sat in the pan for just literally a little bit too long. But it was just one time it was pizza that sat out a little too long. And it was always just really mild, but it was like egg burps and horrible gas and like mild nausea. You know what I mean? Like nothing major, not like whatever.
Something where
you
you
got
can
fucking
still-
hospitalized a couple months ago, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, I
Fucking
never
chicken.
I never go to the doctor. I mean, you ask
Yeah.
my wife. I'm not one to go to the doctor. If I get sick, I'll just write it out, whatever.
Yep.
But when I woke up that morning, I'm telling you, man, it was bad. It started off where I was really cold. I couldn't get warm. I woke up at 3 a.m. and I just could not get warm for the life. But I fell back asleep, and then I woke up at 4:30, and then that's when it started happening. I threw up for 3 straight hours. And they had to come and I asked my wife to call an ambulance. I'm like, something's wrong, because I could not stop throwing up. It was getting so bad, and I was vomiting so hard that like snot and shit was running out of my nose, and then I already have back issues, so my back's killing me now because I keep heaving and I'm bent over, and
and your muscles get really weak.
wow, it was bad, and they came and I went to the hospital, and I remember most of it, and then I went home later that night. They gave me medication. I stopped throwing up, whatever. And I went home, and I remember I talked to my daughter for a little bit, and then I went to sleep. And the next thing I remember, the only thing I really remember, is my wife coming in my room, in the bedroom, and saying that I was talking really weird, and I wasn't making sense. I was talking about people that weren't there, and I was talking about a mess that I had to clean up, and people were trying to kill me, and she was just like, something's not right. So I had a fever, so she took me back to the hospital, and it was due to medications that they gave me while I was there the first time that was causing me to hallucinate and like somewhat of an OD, and that was pretty scary. And if it wasn't for that, I probably would have only been sick for another couple of days, and then I would have been able to go back to work probably the next week, get a little rest. But I was out of work for 3 weeks because of the medication issue, and I was in the hospital for a day, and then they sent me home, and then I had to recover for the next 3 weeks. But so my summer, that's why I haven't gone anywhere this summer, is because my summer's been a pile of shit since the middle of June. And then with work being so busy before that in June, and it sucks too because they don't have baseball or football this year, and that's something I'd be involved in. I'd be coaching my son, or watching him at least, and working with him, and so there's nothing really going on this summer, which really sucks. So I don't know. I mean, it's a real bummer right now, and that's why I enjoy coming to do these things, because it gives me something to do. I wish I had this set up, or else I'd be doing this a lot more. And it's great to sit with people.
I mean, you can do it, dude.
It's good.
You don't have to do this. This is insane.
Right.
Like, dude, coming out of the gate doing this,
Yeah.
like this was a huge swing, dude. And
Yeah.
it was 2 years of, so to put that in context, just like you wish you had something like this and you enjoy coming to do these things, right? And I appreciate that, dude. That means a lot. I got a buddy. He watches this. He'll know I'm talking about him right now. I got a buddy who had like really honestly, he just straight up has like agoraphobia, which means he has a fear of like leaving the house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it started off with him and I doing FaceTime calls. And he was like, dude, this is the first time I've talked to anybody at all. And this was like a huge thing for him to just make that first step. What are you doing over there?
I'm just adjusting the light. He was looking like Papa Smurf there.
Oh, what, really? Gotcha.
Yeah.
So he was like, dude, this is a huge thing for me. It's like really helping me, and fucking he had like every once in a while he could take some meds and like make it to the store for cigarettes or make a beer run every once in a while and shit like that. But he's working on it, and it's a huge step. And I that resonates with me because we were talking about that earlier about people losing their mind. And dude, this podcast has been huge for me because there's, and regardless of whether you guys are in this spot, you two or the listeners, whether you're in this spot personally, most men understand this. We can't fucking handle uncertainty. That's like the biggest. So think about like when you dated a girl.
Oh yeah.
And she wouldn't like, you didn't know whether she liked you or not. That's what drove you nuts, right? When girls left you hanging, right?
Had to know.
So when COVID happened and I didn't know if or when I was going back to work, the first 2 weeks were fucking great. I got amazing sleep. It was like a mini vacation. We got a bunch of shit down around the house. And then literally like day 19, it hit me. And it was like I started losing my fucking mind. I tried coming down here and writing music, but I wasn't inspired. Then all of a sudden the fucking riots happened and it's chaos in the streets, literally, you know what I mean? And I had like, that gave me purpose for a while, like protecting my house and protecting my neighbors. Like that was really cool and everything. But dude, starting this podcast was like so helpful because number one, it gives me something to do and it gives me a sense of purpose, which most men, and I think a lot of women too, but I can't speak for women because I'm not a woman. I don't know what that's like. Most men need a sense of purpose. This just gave me something to focus on. And then the immediate benefit of socializing and giving people an ability to come out of their house, because a lot of people have said shit like that, like, dude, I haven't had that much fun in a long time. And it's definitely because of COVID. Like we're not creating magic here. Right? This isn't fucking, you know what I mean? Like this isn't actually Joe Rogan. You know what I mean? Like, dude, we're not doing anything except just hanging out and having fucking cool conversations, right? Yeah. Well, here's where I'm going with that is like people are enjoying that to get out of their house and do that. People are enjoying watching this because the way this is set up, this format, they feel like they're here hanging out with us. They want to chime in and say shit. You know, they feel like they're here. And so I've had a couple other buddies reach out and they're like, hey man, I think I want to start a podcast. Would you help me figure it out? And it's like, abso-fucking-lutely, dude. Like that's, you know, you and I have based our relationship, you know, kind of where we started with this, like you do this thing now, but where we met is you came and shot a music video for me. Much like I called you the last 2 times to do a podcast. And I was like, I was going to have you on in like another few episodes, but so-and-so canceled. I need you to come bail me out. And he's like, all right, dude, I'm not working right now. I'm on my way. Worked out. You did the same thing. I called you up and I was like, dude, I had this guy. We're shooting a music video tonight. And something happened, or maybe it was tomorrow night, right? Something happened and he had to drive halfway across the country for his family. So can you show up? By the way, I can't pay you. You remember this?
Bonus.
You remember this? But we worked out a deal. I started putting you on, regardless. I put you on every flyer. You became a sponsor of our production company. You became a sponsor of every fucking show I put on, and people did come to you and try to make more music videos. More music videos
for no money.
How many videos did you make?
Oh my gosh,
you probably got towards $100.
I got over 100.
Over 100.
Yeah, and I have a whole bunch of unedited content right now that I don't even want to talk about because people start.
Is your stuff's on YouTube?
Yeah, and
Rusty Nuts Productions.
And we
Why am I not surprised?
Exactly.
And we
I just saw your video the other day.
yeah, because I
Yeah.
found it. I found an old one and threw it on the Extravaganza
There
channel
you
in
go.
its own playlist.
That's why I found it. Okay, I saw it. Yeah.
Right now the playlist, if you guys are interested, which don't pretend you are, but if you do, if you're curious about what we're talking about, so I called up Steve like literally the day before a show. I'm like, dude bailed on me. I can't pay you because it wasn't in the budget to begin with. He was going to do me a favor. I think I was going to give him like an eighth of weed or something at the time, right? Like $60, which I didn't even have to pay for because I think back then I was selling weed, right? So I just like had weed sitting around all the time. So I was just going to like give him some bud or something like that. Some sort of like, there was no cash exchange. There was nothing where I had to worry about paying him. Yeah. So when his real problem came up and he had to go tackle that, I called Steve up and he showed up, and him and his buddy Rod, sorry. I always do that dumb shit. Sorry, buddy.
That's okay.
He knows. I probably called him Rob 1,000 times to his face, just like everyone calls me Jerry.
Yeah.
Like everyone calls me Jerry. I will correct you a lot, but there's also a lot of times where I just don't have the energy. And people are like, why does he keep calling you Jerry? And be like, because I haven't had the energy to fucking tell him he's wrong. But long story short,
it's gone on too long.
You guys showed up. You guys showed up.
Yeah.
We were kind of talking about this before the podcast. I had this entire fucking thing storyboarded in my head at least. So I told them, shoot this, get this angle, do this, be here, grab that, fucking make sure you do this. They shot me a few ideas and I was like, oh, that's a great idea. I never thought about that. Perfect. Do that.
You had a limo.
Yep. I fucking set up a limo. Fucking we set up the venue where I can't remember how, but like we did have some good buzz going.
Underground.
We did like we did some sort of promo where we were able to get more people in there than usual, even though we still had a decent little crowd and like we had buzz. But we made this video and it's now up on the Extravaganza YouTube page in its own playlist called The Tyrants. That'll eventually just get moved to like music shit that I do, so it won't just be The Tyrants. That's just what I named it now. But anyways, long story short, he shot that video. I put it together, gave him credit in there, shot by or filmed by, I don't remember what I said, Rusty Nuts, and then I edited that fucker. And I'm just saying, man, for $0 on a fucking last minute, we did not set up any sets. We didn't set up any lighting. All I did, and I threw them to the wolves, dude. Like, I'm telling you, he can attest for this. He can totally attest for this. They showed up and I was like, all right, here's what I need, here's what I need, here's what I'm looking for, here's what I want, here's the idea, blah 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 blah, da 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 da. And they were like, cool, got it, done. And then they showed up. We tried to do another music video, but we didn't execute what I had in my head. And what I had in my head versus how I tried to direct them, that was 100% my fault. And then you showed up a third time, remember, at the 7th Street. And we did another one. Yeah. And we got live sound from the audio board. Yeah. We did the 7th Street entry show, and then you had some sort of power surge.
Something.
And we lost it all.
Yeah.
Because I was too lazy to get it from them right away. Because the band broke up. It was their last show. I was depressed. Yeah. I had no desire to work on that. Yeah. And then like a year later, I hit him up. I'm like, dude, I need that video. Yeah. I need that sound in that video. And you're like, I lost it. Yeah. It's all gone.
I'm still
tough
looking,
shit, Cookie.
I'm looking through all my hard drives now.
You think you might have a backup somewhere?
I don't know. I just found an old
Knowing
hard
you, I bet you
drive
do.
that was sitting on a shelf that had bands in it. So
just surprise me. Just grab me any random one.
Yeah, me too. Because I'm running dry here.
So you're looking through old hard drives. You think you might have it somewhere?
I found a folder that said bands, and there was one that it was from a New Year's Eve party that had a whole bunch of different bands, and had a beer thing in there, and I don't know, some guy that I knew produced that whole thing that night, and I think he was the manager of a warehouse or something, or I'm talking about you, right?
Huh? Sorry, I was looking at the beers.
Yeah.
I was looking at the beers. Sorry. Keep going.
What do we got here?
This is mine.
We'll
No. I want this one.
All right. Yeah, you used to manage a building, like a manager.
Oh,
and that
okay.
Was that show.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. So, okay. I didn't. No. Okay. Here's what you do. We talked about this earlier. Yeah. All right. It's actually
teach me how to be a man.
It's
all right.
This fuck. Yeah, I am gonna teach you how to be a man.
There you go.
I know women that can do this.
Jeez.
Jeez.
Do they have a wallet with a chain? Too?
Listen, you fuck. Okay, it's a simple machine. You're
Okay.
using a lever, so it's
Yep.
all just about point of contact,
oh,
right?
I get it.
So it's just a wedge
okay.
and a lever,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And then it's just a very simple.
Yeah.
And I'm squeezing, but all you're
Okay.
doing is holding this because
Got it.
that's what's you're
Got
gonna
it.
want to slide, right? So
Okay,
you just hold
sure.
it up, little above center.
Okay. Nice. Okay. So what I'm gonna take away.
You're a grown fucking man.
I know. I'm gonna take away that one. I need to start smoking. And two, I gotta not be a pussy. Okay.
The best way to start both of those things is grow your fucking beard back.
There. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because you got a good beard.
I had a yeah. People were complaining it was too much Santa Clausy.
What?
Fuck
They were
them.
getting creeped out.
Fuck them. Fuck them.
Yeah.
You're also lying right now.
Yeah.
Your wife complained because you were going down on her and she didn't like the texture.
Yeah. No. It was a girlfriend. The girlfriend didn't like it.
I took that as you're married and you have a girlfriend. I think that means you're not married and it's just your girlfriend. Don't answer. Let's leave it up to the mystery.
All right.
What we don't know about Steve is he actually slams ass. He's got lots of hoes.
Yeah.
That's
What other
That's true.
bands have you done videos for?
Well, let's see. The very first one was Earshot.
Earshot.
Earshot. Yeah, they
That
had that
sounds familiar.
song. Fuck, I can't remember.
it's mostly local bands.
Yeah, mostly local bands, but Earshot was the first one. He was commercial as William, and he's in California right now.
Well, we got
And-
here's the thing is we got really lucky when we shot our video
yeah,
with you
yeah.
because we played my meter was
Mm-hmm.
fucking solid. Remember I used to get on your ass about this not
Mhm.
being able to play to a click? Dude, I rehearsed so aggressively that
Mm-hmm.
I could play live to almost the identical tempo that we recorded at.
Mhm.
So when we recorded,
Mhm.
we played our shit live. And I was still able to find a couple different spots where I was able to sync up. And it's not the actual spot. So like where you see my drums sync up with what I'm playing, if you really know the song and the drum parts and you watch, you'll see me go into a fill that isn't there and I cut it right as I'm about to start the snare fill. But most of the time, like the diddle 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 pop at the end, that timed out perfectly, and I was able to sync that up. But getting the right angles with John and Kevin to get their parts to sync up, I didn't get the right shots at the right time for it to work in the video. But we actually took that live video and edited over our actual track, which was still a shitty sounding demo. Most of the guys that hired him, Nick, just had him show up.
Yeah.
And like then they just used the audio from the camera.
Mhm.
So it just didn't sound good. Like
Yeah.
they were like that's when I saw your guys shit, I was like, these guys know how to make videos.
Yeah, well,
but we got to do this like the right way.
I went and bought
Everybody else just got so lazy.
went and bought a 24 track recorder,
Mhm.
splitters. So
that was later though.
yeah, that was later. And but I did have an 8-track, and I took usually a matrix feed off the main board, and then probably isolated the singers, so get all the music, all the singers, and that kind of thing. And then as soon as we got the 24, though, we upped the game, and because I was taking all the instruments, all the mics, they were running into me, splitting, going to the onstage box,
Right.
and then out to the front of house.
Why
mixer.
did you guys stop doing that again?
Well, it took a
Just
lot of
money?
time. Took a lot of time.
And no
Nobody
one
was
was paying
paying
you?
us. Yeah, I mean, and we just started doing other things like film. We started doing the short films. We hooked up with Nathan Sword Lord, former Sword Lord, when he was doing that. And
You did some short films?
yeah, some short.
Yeah, that's
films.
why I wanted to have you two
Yeah.
on together because that's where the three of us have a connection as well because we made the music video together.
Yeah.
Together. Him and I have worked on this script in the past that I wrote. We've tried to do some shit. We talked about that on the previous podcast, I think, a little bit. And yeah, that's one of the cool things I think that we could get out of this podcast is, again, kind of the idea, like I was saying earlier, about getting out of the house and socializing all of that, but also kind of like bringing people together and giving us a chance to like communicate with each other and almost have meetings and an exchange of idea without physically being there.
Well,
you're on that sheet behind you. Just
Again?
push it behind you. Yeah. Well, it's just because you keep scooting out from the table. It's because
I
we're
got
cramped.
your damn beer. That's why.
Yeah, it's all good. It's just because we're cramped in the space. But
So I told you on the last pod that you did that I was starting to write.
is that what you guys
another
call
script.
it, a pod?
Pod.
Some people call it a pod. Some people call it a cast. It just sounds weird to me to try to shorten a 2-syllable
I
word.
prefer pod.
Let's call it a P.
So I told you I was going to work on a script, and I'm on the second draft now. So,
What remind me, because I was drinking heavily that night. Is it a full script or a short film script?
No,
or is it a proof now? Where are you at?
Oh, I did the treatment, and I did a first draft. I have a
So
first draft
explain
done,
to
so now I'm
people
on the
that are
second draft.
confused, because we're getting a little film nerdy here. Explain to people the difference between a proof, a treatment, and a script, regardless of the length of the script.
Well, a treatment is just a basic 5, maybe 6-page synopsis of your film. Tells them, the characters, the situations, it's basically, it breaks it down, and correct me if I'm wrong, it just breaks it down in 3, a beginning, middle, and end. You've got 3 acts, 3-act structure. And it's just simplified.
What's a
into
proof
story.
then? Because that's what I thought a proof was, or is a proof
Well,
a 1 or a 2-page?
Proof is pretty much the same thing. Wouldn't you
Is it?
agree?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it's just something to sell to the execs so that they buy into it and
Yeah.
say, let's green light.
So
that
it's just
sucker.
another
So-
word for the same thing.
Yeah.
pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So I already wrote a first draft. I just wrote. I didn't. I'm not the kind of person when the people write screenplays, they do index cards and they do things on boards. I just kind of let it flow out. And so being that I actually finished it, and now I'm on the second draft. I'm about 10 to 12 minutes into it. Hey man, they have screenplay contests all the time, like all the time.
Right.
And I know there's some coming up here in the fall, so I'm trying to finish it before then, and then submit it through this contest, see how well I do. And see, my problem is that I can create the story, I can get it to flow, I can put pieces where they belong, but I suck at. I'm just gonna admit it. I suck at writing dialogue. I'm not good at dialogue. I've tried reading books about it. It's just like it's hard for me to transcribe on paper the way I talk because, not to get too much into it, but it's basically a story that I'm familiar with, something that I experienced. So, but I know that how we used to talk back then. It's hard for me to just put it on paper. I don't know why.
I know what you're talking about though, because we found that chemistry and dynamic. Because I'm really good at writing dialogue. Yeah. I'm really bad at like setting up the scene. In the old Chekhov's gun, everything in the scene has a purpose. I'm bad at that.
Yeah.
I'll either give details that only matter to the like deep end backstory of like, why is this character's last name Pelé? And it's like, because he's fucking French and his parents came from this place and had this. Like, I go deep into that shit, but I either go way too far with describing my scenes or I get really lazy and I just like grace over it because I'm so I shouldn't say I'm so good at writing, but that's definitely I'm better at writing dialogue than anything else in that shit. And we kind of naturally found that chemistry when working on a couple different ideas.
Yeah, you got to put yourself in that character's point of view when you're writing as that character, and you got to just lose yourself in that character, and then the dialogue will come out, and that's it. You got to be that character. You got to be like
that. I've found is what I do when I'm writing those characters is I'll and I'm not trying to give you advice, but you might find advice in this, is I try to find a part of me and a part of my personality that can identify with that. So, like, maybe not everybody has this personality. Everybody might be in their little box, but I'm sort of a jack of all trades, master of none. I consider myself to just be very average or slightly above average, but I can relate. And I have a lot of crazy diverse interests in different parts of my personality. Like there's a really dark, violent part of me. There's a really fun, silly, innocent version of me. There's there's all these different aspects of my personality that make up the whole. And my buddy was telling me about this when I showed him the pictures for the podcast. And he's like, that's not you. He's like, that's not the Jared I know. That's not the Jared that's on the podcast. And I was like, here's the thing, dude, is like, that's literally me. The podcast and the dude you know is just me showing and highlighting the other parts of that intense personality. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's where I always did, is I dipped into a certain part of me that like literally resonated or felt some sort of kinship with that type of character, I guess you could say, and then getting into that dialogue of how that person would think and how they would talk, and then the natural flow of conversation and the other person in that conversation.
For me, it's easy
well.
to create.
You just got to
character.
scoot forward a touch. Scoot forward a little bit.
Creating the character is easy for me. I mean, because I've met a lot of colorful characters in my life, and you best believe I use them for inspiration when I create characters. So that's not the problem for me. Like I said, the dialogue thing. But what's cool is I used to have a roommate when I was in my early 20s.
Dude, when you write dialogue, hold on, let me ask you. When you write dialogue, do you like run through it?
Oh yeah, I run through it. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it just doesn't make sense, or not doesn't make sense, but it doesn't seem to flow well when I read it. I don't know. But when I was younger, I had a roommate who went to MCAD, which is the film school here in Minneapolis. Yep. They have students there that you can send, they have like a classified board on their website for students that are looking to just work on projects as practice or extra whatever. Right. And I've always, because I have a hard time writing dialogue, I always thought about reaching out to one of those and saying, hey, I've got a project here. I'll email it to you. You take a look at it. Maybe we can work together, whatever. A lot of writers have paired up that way in the past. But I'm 42, and I waited too long to start this. Like I did it years ago, but I figured if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it now. I got a lot to say. When you write things like this, you have stuff to say. So. And I'm not a big social person, I don't go out a lot, I'm married, I have children, I'm happy, it's my content life.
You mispronounced ever. You said some weird version of ever. It sounded like a lot. Okay. You don't ever go out. You never have. You're a fucking homebody, bro.
I like staying at home with my family.
I'm not judging you. I'm telling you to quit lying. There's nothing wrong with your lifestyle,
not true, folks.
I'm exactly like you. Hold on, seriously though, I'm not talking shit about Nick right now at all. I'm the same guy, and half of my fucking listeners are my very good friends that are like, yeah, Jared, you can give him all the shit you want, but motherfucker, you haven't come out to a birthday in like 3.5 years. For real, dude. I'm not judging you. I'm just telling you to quit bullshitting about it. I never leave the house.
I go to work and I go home. That's all I need.
I couldn't get Nick to come to rehearsal, so we had to rehearse in his garage. Which is not true, by the way. It's 100%
in the beginning it was true, but not towards the end.
The only time I could get him to leave the house was for a concert that we were playing.
Sure, I'll go out tonight. Why not? It sounds like fun.
No, for real though. I'm just giving you a bunch of shit, but I get what you mean, because I'm the same way, dude. I don't like fucking leaving the house. I don't do it, dude. You don't do it either.
No.
None of us are anymore, dude, because we realize, like, it's almost like that old saying, like, nothing good happens after midnight. Like, it's one of those things, like, I don't need to leave the house for good shit to happen. Yep. You know what I mean? I can stay here and, like, I'll be alive tomorrow. Like,
I leave the house for...
I won't have gotten too drunk and accidentally gotten some dude's number named Christy and my wife now thinks I'm having an affair with. You know what I mean? Like, no, honey, it's a dude. What dude's named Christy? This one. That one.
Apparently, I'm at my girlfriend's house right now, apparently. So,
right?
Yeah. So I'm not.
What is going on with your dogs, bro?
Do you hear the howling?
Yeah.
If the listeners can hear it at all, they can only hear it because we're talking.
Yeah.
So the gate on the mic, I was telling you about this earlier, the gate is opened up, so then it might come through.
Right.
But
do you still dabble with short films or?
Actually, that's what we were talking about.
So
I think we should do a short film together. The three of us.
Should. So there's this thing called the 48-hour film project, which you probably maybe aware of, and I've been that was
Have
my
you ever heard
3
of this?
films.
No.
Okay, hold on.
So
hold on.
Hey,
I want you to explain to the listeners and him what the 48-hour film festival is.
Sure.
I got to take a leak.
Okay.
You guys keep talking while I'm done.
Right. So the 48 is it's a contest. It's a worldwide contest, and there are there's a lot of cities around the globe that participate, and Minneapolis is one of them. And there are, oh my gosh, over 100 teams that usually participate here in Minneapolis.
Wow.
And so I and my buddy Rod, Rusty Nuss Productions, we decided we were going to break away for a little bit from We Grillin' Tonight Films, which was Nathan's film production company. And Nathan is a Sword Lord. He was a local music promoter. Right?
Okay.
So he brought in a lot of bands.
Right.
He's moved on to filmmaking full time, basically. And so anyway, what it is you get you have to make a film. You have to do all of the creative work in 48 hours, and that means coming up with a concept, writing it, filming it, and editing, and then delivering all within 48 hours. And so during that time, to make sure that you're not cheating, they give you a line of dialogue. They give you a genre, and they give you some props, and they give you a character name.
Not to cut you off, sorry.
Sure.
How long is the film? How long does the length have to be?
4 to 7 minutes.
Okay.
So it's a short film.
Okay.
Surprisingly, it is very difficult to do that.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah. Especially when you're given, here's your genre. You've got musical. What? How am I going to write music for this? So luckily,
Don't call me.
Yeah, you can throw it back. You can throw it back, and you can get a second one, but it's not going to be pretty. Now all of a sudden you got Western. Yeah. So for me, I got family film. So of course I made a film with drugs, murder, and what is it called? Pedophilia. Yeah. So teachers with high school students and drugs sniffing. Yeah, it was great.
I love it already.
Yeah, that was the white stuff.
Nick's really into it too.
That was my first attempt. My last one, the Promethean fallacy, was we got B movie as a genre.
Oh,
and
nice.
so that was easy because, well, no matter what, we were making a B movie right, regardless. Yeah. So it just worked.
You're already making that. Yeah.
And we had our lead main actress. She was great, and she.
Don't worry, it's not a COVID cop.
Yeah, I told her. I said, we need you in a bikini top and short shorts. And she's like, I'm on it. And then I sent her a picture of the Black Tape Project. This is something I saw these dancers. They would take electrical black tape and put it just like,
over their nipples and
over
shit.
Their nipples and other places. And I sent her a picture of that, and she just wrote back, yes, 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 yes. I'm like, okay, I guess we're doing that. And she was mostly naked for the whole film, except for the good part, So yeah, that this was a horror film.
Oh, that's the best one too.
Yeah, and we were the only ones to get the warning screen at the beginning.
Really?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Nice.
That's what I thought too.
That's awesome.
Yes, get your kids out of the theater.
An honor to be proud of.
Yep.
That's dope, dude.
Yeah.
So do you guys still make movies today, or you guys stop doing that?
I went back to editing for Nathan, and then eventually, I decided that. I wanted to do something else and kind of step aside and let somebody else edit. And now I'm doing writing, and so I'm working on my first screenplay.
Oh yeah, good for you.
Yeah, and it started out as like 7 pages, and now it's 27, and I'm still not halfway done.
It's so hard to write a fucking 1 page sometimes. You're just like, I'm reading it in my head. It sounds great. Yeah. On paper, that's fucking stupid. I gotta delete the thing and then start over. Yep. But can I ask just briefly what you're writing about?
Well, I got past page 1 and I said, fuck, this is Jurassic Park, and threw it out, and I went back to it, and shit, this is Ready Player One. All right, we're done. So yeah, I've had a couple. So I'm writing one called Copy Paste, and so it's kind of like, well, it's The Fly. But reinvented. I said, fuck it, I can't do this a third time. I'm sticking with this. It's basically The Fly rewritten, to be modernized, and Yeah, so that's what
I feel
it
like
is,
that's
and-
the secret, though, is to find an old movie that
Yeah.
no one remembers.
Yeah.
Right?
Now, are you going? Is it more in the spirit of the Vincent Price fly or the Jeff Goldblum fly?
Jeff Goldblum.
Okay.
Because that's where my inspiration
Then
was.
I would
yeah.
love to see a movie like
Yeah,
that because
yeah.
that's one of my favorite movies. So
Not as creepy though.
You know
Set
that's
the bar-
probably
set
gonna
the
get
bar kind of high
remade.
there, guy.
And that's probably going to get remade pretty
Yeah.
soon.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
of course, because Hollywood has no original ideas anymore.
I mean, there
Exactly.
are certain guys. Let's see if you guys know the director I'm thinking of. There's one very specific director out right now making truly original movies.
I gotta say, Christopher Nolan.
That's exactly who I'm
Oh,
talking
wow.
about. That's
Yeah.
Inception.
Yeah.
that new
fucking-
one that's coming out, Temptin' or something like that. Begins with a T.
I don't remember, but you nailed it. That's the guy, dude. He's writing.
Yeah.
He didn't he also do Interstellar?
Yeah.
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 Interstellar. He did Memento.
Yeah. That dude, right? He's got original ideas.
Yeah,
that
he
dude
does.
ain't biting on nobody's style.
Right.
That's a motherfucker
Now,
right there.
did you like Dunkirk? I didn't.
I feel
And
like
I usually-
did. I feel like I did watch Dunkirk. I feel like
I
I
don't-
did.
I haven't
Is
seen
that the one with Tom Cruise?
No. Dunkirk
Dunkirk. Who's in that one? I swear to
has the
God.
guy who played the Scarecrow in Batman Begins. I can't remember his name.
It's still about the Nazis and shit, though, right?
They're stuck on the island.
I guarantee you I've seen it. I just don't remember, which is probably not a good thing.
But
for
anywho, that's
making the argument that Christopher Nolan's boss.
that's the only thing. That's the only thing he's made.
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
Yeah.
That's the only thing he's made that I didn't really care for. But other than that, all his other films are brilliant. If you've never seen Inception, I mean,
no.
it's a. Are you a movie? Well,
Oh, yeah.
you're right.
You've never seen
obviously you're a movie
Inception?
guy.
Well, I've seen parts of it, but I haven't actually sat down and done a marathon of it.
Dude, a marathon? You mean watching it?
Yeah, like multiple
once?
times.
Like just once?
No, I don't
Just
watch a movie
from
once.
beginning
If
to
I
end.
like it, I'm watching it 10 times.
Oh, hey.
Or you could
I have
just
to
start
ask.
with watching it once.
All right,
That's
so-
usually the first step. Watching it in its entirety once. Just once.
All right, I have to ask because I ask everybody this who likes movies, writes about movies, whatever.
Yeah.
What is your favorite movie of all time?
Oh man, I'm gonna show my ultimate nerdum here, but Stargate.
Oh, that's awesome.
Stargate?
That's such
Yeah,
a
I'm a
sneaky
sci-fi
pick, though,
nerd.
dude.
I'm
That was a great movie,
you know,
dude.
But
For
ultimately,
when it came out,
Yeah, yeah.
that was a
was
fucking
fantastic.
amazing movie. Stargate. It
But-
was so good. It was one of the first movies to get a
Oh.
TV show based on it.
yeah. So I
Other
mean,
than like
it-
a Superman
now,
or whatever.
If I go non like sci-fi, but so a little bit more hip would be Big Trouble in Little China. Now
Man,
I know
talk
a
about
lot
dude.
of people.
You're like basically an old hipster.
Oh hell yeah! Yeah.
Like if you
I
were
just
my
saw
age,
Goodfellas though.
these
I
are
love
like,
that movie.
You just saw Goodfellas
Just
for the
saw
first time.
Yes.
Dude, you're losing
Love that.
credibility. You're losing credibility. There's certain movies you have to have seen in
Oh, yeah.
order to like.
Yeah. I know.
Do you mind if I ask how old are you?
Man,
Look, he moved off. He
yeah.
moved off mic. Like if he pulled the mic over here.
So yeah, I'm
84. Jesus Christ, you look great for
I
your age.
know, right? No, I'm
800.
I'll be doing the double nickel in December. So
The double nickel.
I mean, I
Jesus,
respect.
you're
yeah, I'm
Almost-
old. I'm fucking old. Yeah.
So you're 54.
Yeah.
I'm about to turn 36. That's almost 20 years.
I'm 42. So,
You're basically splitting difference.
I respect Stargate. I do like
I
Big
didn't
Trouble
think
in
you were
Little
that
China.
much older than me. Hold on. I didn't think you were that much older than
I'm
me.
42, bro.
I
That
don't-
actually does make sense because,
I don't
yeah, you were
remember
like 24 when I was 16.
No, I was 21.
21.
Yeah, because I remember meeting Jamie, and her and I are 5
Yep.
years apart.
Banging my underage cousin at the time.
Who I'm still married to this day.
All
Yep.
right.
20 years
There's a
later.
And he's
variable
not
thing.
running for office, so don't even
No.
bother
There
me
you
to
go.
him.
There you go.
They have kids. They're still together. Fuck
So-
off.
So
Fuck off.
I'm an 80s kid. So
Fuck off. Whoever's thinking about doing
They-
it. That one trips me
that-
out because see how these two have the blue lights?
Mm.
That one doesn't
Yeah.
have a
Red.
blue light.
Oh, there's another one. All right.
Yeah, that's the third one. That's the main
third one.
overhead. Yeah.
All right.
So I'm
Yeah.
an 80s kid, so that's why I ask.
So
Because
what does
80s
that
was the
really mean? Because
pinnacle.
I feel like I'm an
Class of
80s kid because I was born in the 80s.
You were born when?
84.
See, I was
Holy
born.
shit,
I was
I
born
was
78. I was
graduated
6.
in 84.
I was
right?
6 when you were born.
Right.
Wow.
So I don't know. It's just
Fucking old.
it's just a time.
So you're
period that-
literally Joe Rogan's
I
age. Because I
am.
just heard Joe
I am.
Rogan talk about this. He just turned 54
Yeah.
or 55 or whatever.
Yeah.
He had a little birthday podcast. I haven't finished it. You know, just like people, my buddies who listen to my podcast, they're
Yeah.
like, dude,
Yeah.
sorry, man, I haven't been able to listen to the whole thing yet. I'm like, dude, no one does.
Yeah.
Stop apologizing. I don't watch Joe Rogan in full stream.
Yeah.
No, I watch
Yeah.
it at like 20-minute clips.
Yeah.
I fucking, I'm taking a shower. Boom, resume. You
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No,
I literally go to, I'm cleaning.
Yeah.
I'll go to the TV. I'll look at my iTunes.
Mhm.
Where did I leave off? Okay, about an hour in. And then I'll rewind it and find that spot in the video and then hit play so I can go clean. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
dude, it's totally normal.
No, I was on the phone with Joe and I told him, "Hey, you old fuck," and
No, but
shut up.
I brought this up because it's weird because I'm thinking about that. Like, your class of 84, you being 6 to me means nothing. But you
Yeah.
being high school, like literally, you and Joe were out there like fucking
Yeah.
dreams.
What
You're
year did you
graduating
graduate?
high school, 84.
84.
That's
Yeah.
the year I was born,
And he
right?
went on to be a nice, awesome actor, and I, dwelled in nothingness. So
Who was that
Yeah.
again? I didn't hear that. Who?
what?
Who? Were you talking
Rogan.
Who?
about?
Rogan.
Oh, Rogan.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the pod
Yeah,
father.
he's swinging
And,
out of the ceilings on a TV show, and I think I was washing dishes. I think.
But here's the difference, though. Here's the difference. Here's why you and Joe didn't end up in the same exact spot.
Mm.
He got in front of the camera, you didn't.
Yeah, well, he had talent.
And then
That's why guys like him and I stay behind the scenes. Man. We
That's
write
right,
everything.
yeah.
You know.
here's the thing. You all of us have talent, but Joe got in front of the camera
Yes.
and got, I wouldn't say lucky because he worked really hard,
Mhm.
but when you get a manager, whether you're a stand-up comedian or an actor, they give you direction.
Yeah.
When you're just a guy who writes shit, because here's the thing is whether you're a filmmaker or a director, whether you're trying to do this or what we used to do as a musician and as a writer, unless you're in Hollywood and you already know the right people,
Mhm.
you're kind of just like graduating high school and then like going into the wilderness at pitch black darkness with a flashlight that doesn't work. And if you're lucky, you hit it hard enough, and everyone, being an 80s kid, you remember that? You hit it hard enough, and every once in a while it would pop on for a second and then short back out.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck! That was a real thing, but it's a great metaphor
Yeah.
for being in your side
Yep.
and our side as musicians versus a Rogan who got into comedy, met the right manager, got a couple of opportunities, ended up on a TV show, met some more people. You know what I mean? I'm not going to tell that man he's lucky.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like, oh, it must be nice. But it's a clearer road. And that's why I dig the podcasting thing, because like I know what numbers I have to hit, whether it's now or 5 years from now, in order for me to make X amount of dollars. Like, it's pretty easy to work the numbers. It's a very, it's almost like running a real business. Nick's a manager. He's been, ever since I know Nick, he's been a minimum of even when we were kids, he was an assistant manager. So he was always responsible for making sure the store was profitable. He worked his way up. Now he's a district manager, right? So like he understands the business side of things better than most musicians do, which is another place we always clicked. It's because you always understood that when I'd start fucking being like, no, dude, we got to fucking figure out how to monetize, make money, fucking t-shirts, this, that, and the other thing. And Nick's like, yeah, dude, I'm on board, bro. Like he got it. Other guys are like, man, I really think we need to like rehearse more and like write better tunes. And it's like, yeah, let's do that too. Yeah, fucks. Like, what are we talking about? But I'm kind of blown away by this idea, and it's just now fucking with me. It shouldn't fuck with me, right? My mom is class of 84. My mom had me
Is she
young.
really?
Yeah. My mom
I didn't
had
know
me
that.
young too. I have a young mom. So it just kind of fucks with me when I hear dudes though that were like, oh man, fucking yeah, I was graduating high school. I remember it. You know, class of 84, fucking Ronald Reagan was getting in. And I'm like, dude, I was just born. And I know what I was doing at 18.
So
I know how deep I was trying to dive into vagina at 18.
Yeah.
And so I'm just thinking like, man, who was born when I was 18? And am I going to be hanging out with that kid
Right.
at 50,
Right.
60 years old? Like that, it's just fucking with me, dude. Because I'm 35, about to be 36. I'm not a young man anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
No,
you're
not.
still young.
No, I'm not old, but I ain't young. You know what I mean? In your mid 30s, you're no longer young, but you also ain't old yet. You're like in that sweet spot where your body kind of starts failing on you.
Oh,
like really bad.
Oh yeah.
Like, dude, the shoulder and neck problems I have are fucking ridiculous.
Well, wait till you're my age. By the way, what's your mom doing these days? She's still married?
You don't want to know. You don't want any part of that.
I need a second.
No, you don't. Not that second.
So
my aunt's single.
Killed that one.
My aunt's single.
Hey, there we go.
My aunt's single and ready to mingle, but she is a strong, independent woman, and she will stab you in the inner thigh and twist that
beat
knife.
the shit out of me. All right, there you go. Twist.
Yeah.
Sign
By
me
the
up.
way, that's Kira's grandmother.
Oh man.
It runs in the family.
You asked a question earlier. I'm not avoiding you. I just don't know what the hell you said. I can't remember.
I don't remember what I asked you.
I don't remember. When you're my age, you don't remember what you did.
That's the most fucked up shit Trump ever did. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Oh, where am I?
Do you remember Trump? I don't remember.
Huh?
Do you remember Trump?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
No.
Okay. For the listeners, just Google it. Trump, I don't remember.
Okay.
Trump's on stage campaigning in 2016. And there's this handicapped dude who's like a reporter. And he goes after Trump, and Trump calls him out on some shit. He's like, I don't remember. And then Trump goes up like a month later and makes fun of this. Dude, I feel bad laughing about this, but dude, this shit is so fucking funny. So Trump's literally up on stage and he's like, oh, and so-and-so, and this reporter, and blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, and then he impersonates him and he goes, I don't remember. Dude, and Trump still fucking won the election.
Oh,
like, dude,
gosh.
go watch that shit. And it is so horrific.
How
like,
did he get?
I still laugh because that's what I do when I see fucked up shit. I laugh. It's my mechanism, dude. But also, it's insanely hilarious. This dude is a stand-up comedian. Like, Trump is a stand-up. I actually do remember the question, though. So you were asking the question, and I remember where we left off. You asked the question, are you still writing movies nowadays?
Oh, yeah.
You said yes.
And he was explaining to me what he was writing.
Yeah, and how basically you ended
A
up
Fly
at rewriting
remake.
The Fly.
A Fly reboot.
A Fly reboot.
And I jumped in with some other dumb shit because we've been drinking and we're kind of celebrating podcast number 11. But
nice. And I'm doing this a different way, by the way. I'll speak to this real quick.
Yeah.
So not only am I writing this, but I am writing it with specific actors in mind.
Okay.
Right? Local actors. And this way I'm
actors.
putting their personality into that character
Right.
so that I know it's going to be like on-screen gold.
Right.
Can I play a character where you don't recognize me?
They're playing themselves, basically.
They're playing themselves.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Can I play a character where you can't tell it's me? Like, put me in a bunch of prosthetics.
There
Not
you
the.
go.
I don't want to be the Fly guy. I'm just saying, like, let's make me like a fat dude.
Ooh.
Or
nice.
You know what I want to be? You know what I want to be?
Yeah.
Dude. Oh, dude, I'm so excited right now. I'm so excited for this idea. I want to play an overweight, creepy British woman.
Done.
For real. Write it.
That's
Hey,
write
say
it.
that again. A creepy...
A
What?
creepy old British
Overweight
woman.
Overweight British woman?
A creepy, overweight British woman. Darling.
She's creepy. You don't know if she's going to kill you or molest you.
And it's going to be like, yes,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
is what she's like a female Hannibal Lecter that
Ew.
eats assholes
Ooh.
instead of brains. That's her vibe.
Okay, that's a whole.
We're not going to put it in the movie.
Yeah,
But that's
yeah.
her vibe. Like, yeah, she's got a seriously sexual fetish. She's
okay.
creepy as fuck. She's old.
Wow.
Her hair should be thinning.
Okay.
She should barely have enough hair on her head. So you like see the scalp.
Oh my god.
So you can see the scalp
Yeah,
through the white
yeah,
hair, and
yeah.
she's really
It's just
overweight.
like patches.
Oh, so you've become the Fly.
So when you make this film, what are
Yeah.
you going to do with it? You going to take it to any festivals or?
Yeah, well,
No, he's never going to show it.
there's a couple.
He's going to put all this work
You never
into
know.
it.
Yeah, so it is a comedy, and it does a lot of back references to 80s movies,
Nice.
and
nice.
so think Ready Player One, right?
Right.
But a little bit different. It's mostly dialogue based. So, but I'm gonna farm it out to a couple guys here locally that I know. One guy not so much does the comedies; he likes the dramas. But there's another guy who does comedies.
What do you mean
really
you're
well.
farming it out to him?
Just get them to read it, and if they want to make it, then they'll.
What do you mean make it? What does that mean?
Exec produce it. So
Give you money to make it.
Well, no, they front the money to make it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They give you money to
They
make
do everything. I'm just a writer.
it. Okay.
Yep.
I would be down to join the editing team. You know my editing skills. I've shown you some shit I've done. Obviously the music video.
Are you a SAG member?
No.
No. You don't have to be though.
No,
to
you
distribute
don't.
it. No, I didn't think so.
No, and all you
As
need
long
to
as
do,
nobody's getting paid.
and all you need to do to be, it's weird. Like this is one thing I do know. It's super convoluted. In order to be considered a SAG actor, you have to work on a SAG film.
Yes.
In order to make a SAG film, you have to have a SAG actor
Correct.
in your SAG film.
Yep. And
That's all it is.
And
So
if
it's like
you're
this-
a SAG actor, you can't work on non-SAG films.
Right. But that's the only way you
Without
can get a SAG film to be a SAG film.
Huge list of caveats. And that's
I
why
mean,
you
or you could just do it.
yeah, you do it under a different name.
Well, I mean, you can literally just do it.
Yeah.
Like Robert
Sure.
Redford's done that.
Yeah.
That's where Cannes Film Festival.
They're finding a
came from.
lot of like very good independent films these days that people are making for very cheap.
Yeah.
Dude, some of this
it
tech,
just calls for the right script, the
dude,
right
they got
people.
they got
Yeah.
jibs for a couple $100
Oh,
now
yeah.
that you can throw on your
You
iPhone
can do
11.
amazing things with
And
what's out there now.
there's entire movies now shot on iPhone. I think it was the first one was iPhone 7.
Yeah.
And now there's been several that have been made all the way up to iPhone 10 and 11. I did a music video with fucking Prince down at Paisley Park. Swear to God, dude. He had this side project with these girls. I should see if I could get her on the podcast. Her name's Donna Grantis. And there was this band they had called Third Eye Girl. And for the life of me, dude, I've been drinking. I apologize, guys. I cannot remember the name of the song. But I went down to Paisley, and my gun is in the video. It's actually not my gun. It's my grandfather's gun. But it's my grandfather's Marine-issued revolver. And it's in a shot in that video. And I went down to Paisley, and they shot that on a combination of an iPhone and like a fucking handheld camera.
Right.
Like they're not. This technology's gotten so much better, and now even with the iPhone, they have this little jib that you can fucking run with, and it's stable. It does complete stabilization. You used to have to have on a whole body harness to do that. You remember?
Yeah.
You have to. It was insane,
Yeah.
and now it's like
Well, and
less than $300.
if you don't have 40,000 for a red, you can just rent one for 100.
Right?
Yeah.
What was that? Say that again.
If you don't have 40 grand for a red camera,
Right.
you can just rent it for like $100.
Yeah.
And for
It's like $100 a day, but
yeah, it's $100 a day, but still, I mean, that's cheap compared to buying one.
Oh, of course.
And yeah, so
yeah, on a short film where you'd be doing 2-3 days. I hooked up with this dude. I mean, I'm probably not gonna do it, but I'm intrigued by it. He's doing some sort of like short film based on local musicians, and he's looking for people that can come in and play or sing. And I was like, listen, dude, like last name or not, I ain't fucking singing, and I ain't singing on fucking camera, bro, but I can play guitar and drums. I'm really intrigued by this idea, and hopefully he doesn't fucking see this podcast, but I have selfish motives for it, right? So if I can get into his shit and it's credited and it gets written about in any credited newspaper or publishing, then I can use that as a citing, and then I can get my own Wikipedia page, and like I use it to establish my business and brand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I have my own selfish motives. Hopefully for fucking, if he does see this, it's after it's done and it's too late. But it is intriguing, and like that's how it gets done. Is you get into these little deals, and then all of a sudden,
right.
You're all of a sudden you have a fucking you have a Writers Guild credit, because you worked on this film with somebody from the Writers Guild or the SAG or whatever.
I'll tell you what, and if you don't have $100, if you can get a GoPro, one of the best films I've seen in a festival, a guy taped
a GoPro to a soccer ball and kicked that sucker around, and it was amazing. You wouldn't
that's
think
true.
so, but it was amazing.
That's true, and you can get some of these GoPros.
Yeah.
They made it's like the GoPro 3 Hero or some shit like that.
Yeah.
The GoPro Hero 3 Plus or something like that.
Yep.
It shoots in 4K at 30 frames a second or 1080 at 60 frames a second, which is all you need.
Well, I don't have the programs and things like that to go that far. If I were ever to do an independent film, I'd want partners. Or
you got it.
Oh yeah,
you got it.
Somebody.
You wouldn't want to do that shit. You don't
get your group. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
you don't want to be doing it all yourself.
And that's probably what I'll be putting together probably by the beginning of spring.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm going to submit it to this contest, and then
Script
after
writers
that,
contest, script contest.
it's a script contest
Yeah,
that happens in the fall.
Yep, yep.
I mean, like I said before, they happen all the time.
Oh, sure.
I mean, and winners, it's either a cash prize or they help you submit it to somebody in the industry. And I've got a couple ideas in mind. I'm writing one of them down now. The other one is going to take a little bit longer, but
don't say it on the air though.
No,
you don't want somebody to steal that shit. There's like 3
so
people that actually listen to this. One
I think
of them
I
is a film thief.
So I think I can finish the second draft probably in the next 3 weeks to a month maybe. I just need somebody to read it for me and just kind of be like truthfully honest. So if you want to take a look at it, you give me your
Send it
email
my
address
way.
later and I'll send it to you. Let me know what
I
you
am
think.
brutally honest.
It's a drama,
Yep.
It's got some humor in it, but it's just like I said, I was always told growing up, always write what you know. For at least in the beginning, and so that's what I'm doing, and I'm actually pretty excited about it. I've started things in the past and haven't finished them, or I had to put them off to the side, but this one I'm really pushing forward because I think it sends a pretty good message. I went through some pretty terrible shit growing up, so it's good to be able to tell this. It's not exactly my story. Some of it's fabricated and names have been changed and all that shit. But
good
the concepts are there.
Yeah, because I experienced a lot between the ages of like 12 and 18. So, it was, and it's kind of funny too. And I don't know if this happens to you. I don't know if you write more comedy or whatever else you write. Writing this is actually pretty therapeutic at the same time, because it's kind of getting a lot of things off my chest. And because when you start hitting your 40s, and when you start hitting your 40s, man, you start thinking about your mortality and things that you haven't done and things that you wanted to do.
Oh yeah.
So I'm at that point in my life now where it's like, if I don't do it now, I'm never gonna do it.
Right.
So I'm taking that leap.
Yep. Sometimes you just gotta stop and just do it.
And I feel good about it. Like I said, I just need somebody to read it, or 2 or 3 people to read it and be like, hey, this is what I like, this is what I don't. Because if I'm gonna make anything of this, I need honesty from everybody. So. I'm excited about it, and come springtime, if I want to move forward with making an independent film, then I'll just have to look and see what I can find. But
I think we should do it. I think, and I'm down to be a part of it because I'm also losing my mind. The podcast is very time heavy, but at the same time, I need other creative outlets. Because for me, I don't know if you guys suffer from this, but if I can concentrate on one project for too long, I'll fucking drive myself nuts.
Yeah.
So like, if you got some shit going on, I'm actually uncannily good at editing, finding the right spots, and how many times have you heard, right? We're all fans. Films are made on the editing room floor.
Yeah.
So like, I'll be down for that. And then if I can help you, like, I'll be down for dialogue input, dialogue writing. If you guys need help with any of that shit, that's one thing I was saying earlier when you brought up the idea of the podcast thing. Like, you wish you were kind of doing something like this. Is like, one thing I'm definitely hoping from this is that we can bring more people together, not just for the social things, but to like get some of these projects actually moving. Like for real, dude, because there's too many people that have great ideas and they just don't know who to talk to. They just don't know like what's my next step. Like, even if they're not trying to network, maybe they just want to write a book. I got a buddy of mine, Brandon, that's coming on the podcast. He wrote and self-published a fucking book.
Yeah.
You know how much fucking tenacity that takes to write a story from beginning to end? A novel. A fucking novel, bro. And then when nobody picks it up, he's like, fuck it, fine, self-publish, boom, done.
Yeah.
Like, that's not easy to fucking do. And it's virtually impossible in the movie industry, right? It's like we
It's
talked
tough.
about I think we talked about this, maybe not. It was somebody else on the podcast. In the music industry, unlike comedy where it's a one-man deal, unlike this podcast where it's a one-man deal, right now it's all on me. I do my own scheduling. I fucking produce my own show, shittily, by the way, but I still produce my own show. You know what I mean? In the music, much like movies or TV, it's a you have to have a team. Like, even if you're Billie Eilish, even if you're The Weeknd, even if you're one of these people that writes and records and produces your own shit and your product is your own, in order to bring it to the masses, there's still an entire group of people.
Yes.
So yeah, I think we should try to do something.
Absolutely.
Because you and I have been talking about shit for years.
Oh yeah.
You and I have been talking about shit for years, and I think the three of us could come together and at least fucking, because they do it every year. They do this 48-hour film festival. Have you guys ever won, by the way?
No.
Yeah. Do you care about winning, or do you just do it for fun?
Actually, the one that we care about winning is the audience choice.
Okay, don't invite me onto the team unless you want to win, because that's all I care about. I can't do anything unless I'm trying to do it to the top, and I want to win.
Yeah, that's what we should.
And I will be pissed if we don't win.
But we're not pissed if we don't win. Yeah.
So when do they hold?
Disappointed.
When do they hold that?
No, I'll be furious. I'll be furious, and it will take me everything in my body to contain my rage.
usually June, so we passed this one.
Okay.
And every city, they may or may not do a they have a sci-fi one, they have a horror 48. I think here in Minnesota we have one that's 72 hours long. It's different. I'm drawing a blank on the name right now, but that's over. That's actually May, June, I think. Then there's another one. Probably the biggest one's called Z-Fest. And that's, you get a lot of time to do that, like several months.
Right.
And same basic type of thing, 4 to 7 minutes, I believe. But Z-Fest, you get, plenty of time to do.
And how long does your submission have to be, your film?
I think about 7 minutes, 7 or 8 minutes.
7 or 8 minutes.
Yeah. So they're all short film festivals.
And when is that one? When is that one again?
Z-Fest runs, I believe, October to January or February, somewhere around there.
So they're going to give me 3 months or so to
Something
make
like
it
that.
4
Three-
months to
three or
make
4
a 7-minute horror movie?
Yeah.
Fucking sign me up.
Yeah, right.
I think we
Z-Fest
could do
is
it.
very popular.
I could whip together a fucking
That's
7-minute horror movie.
Dude, if you whip together a short script, I'll run through it and I'll fucking, what would we call it? Edit the dialogue, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like, just write the dialogue. Just write the dialogue. I'll run through it. Boom. I could do it in a day. Like, literally, if I know it's coming and I plan for it, like Sunday the 24th, I'm going to get this fucking script and I got to run through all the dialogue. It'll get done in a literal day. You'll have it back Monday where we pass it to him. You know what I mean? He makes his notes. It goes back to you. Dude, we could easily have that script done in less than a week because we already have a team in place that knows their roles and what value we're bringing.
Are you entering it this year under your own thing? No, you're not.
No, I haven't done it in years.
How do you feel about this idea? You want to do something?
Yeah, it'd be
Does it
fun.
cost money to do it?
I haven't done.
I don't think so.
There's usually an entrance fee. It's pretty nominal.
Let's
Typical.
find somebody to do it.
Yeah,
Cover that for us. Let's find a sponsor.
Yeah, the big thing is the you got to have a camera.
What is it, like
person.
$250?
No, it's a lot less than that.
Well, okay.
It's
How
less
much
than
is it?
200. I don't know
That's not
exact
bad.
price. Yeah,
That's not bad at all.
I just don't want to spend
I think
any
48
money.
was like $70 or something like that.
I'm Jewish. I don't like spending money.
No.
It
not that bad.
makes me break out in hives.
So the 48 though, everything has to be volunteer. So nobody gets
Yeah,
paid.
nobody gets paid.
Yeah, they that's adamant. For Z Systems, I don't know if they have that requirement.
I don't give a fuck about the money.
So,
I just want to do
Are they
something
having
cool.
it this year? Are they having this year?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard anything
just have-
about that.
I wanna-
know 48 did some. But
I want to do something like this. I just have zero interest in being in front of the camera unless I can do one of two things.
Yeah.
I either play some insanely over-the-top, hilarious, ridiculous character, and I have to be able to write my own lines, or I want to play someone that you will not recognize me as that human, like the creepy old British woman, and I still get to write my own lines. Because that's the whole thing is like, I don't want to be an actor.
Yeah.
I want to
You just want to improv the hell out
I
of it.
just, well, and here's the thing is like, ironically, I'm able to improv really well and be funny when I like am loose and comfortable, and I know I can like riff and do takes.
Yeah.
But there's a reason I've never come and done your show, because you give me like, you put me in an actual improv spot. Nope. No, dude. No. I did improv comedy in high school.
Anything.
I know, and that's what dude, you guys are so fucking talented at that. Even when you're not funny, just to be able to still do it.
Oh yeah.
Because that's the thing, is you got to admit, and I know you're not up there physically doing it, so I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about anybody who's doing improv.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Any person who's out there doing improv, even if you're not being funny, you're still the shit, because you're up there doing it and improving.
Yeah.
So to improv and be funny is like bringing it to 11.
Oh, yeah.
I can't even go up there and improv that way. I can improv if the camera's just rolling, and I can fucking start and stop, and then we'll just figure it out in post. You'll just take the fucking snippets and the moments, and we'll cut it together, and like Eddie Murphy style almost. You know what I mean? Where they would just roll it and let him get 50 of them in.
Yeah.
That's when you're gonna catch me. Like actually being funny is when I don't have to improv and I got one shot at doing it. I can't do that shit.
Sorry, I was just reading up on the Z Fest in there.
Yeah, I think Nathan is doing Z Fest.
October.
You fucking piece
early
of shit.
registrations October 1st through November 30th.
Yeah.
With an early submission fee discount of $75, which is pretty nice.
That's not bad.
And scripts are due by
and you can
January
write any
25th.
Script, so it's not like the 48.
You can do it. It's not like the 48 at all. You can do whatever you want.
Okay,
they're due January 25th.
You remember that story I had?
Yeah.
I don't want to do that one. I'm just saying it's gonna come up because it's a really good idea. We'll talk about it off the air. I don't want to talk about it on the pod. It's a badass story. Everybody that's written it, everyone who's read it, has been like, dude, I wanted to keep reading. Like as you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. When are you gonna make this?
Everyone keeps saying, oh, this would be a great short film. I don't want to do it as a short film. I would rather us build equity doing other things and then bring this to the table. That way we have skills, we're better, and when we actually flesh this out into like a feature film, because I think it's a 2-hour flick. I think it's like a Coen Brothers pace with a Tarantino style, like the out of time. You don't tell it, nor almost like Memento, right? But that was literally just
it just went backwards. The whole film went backwards.
So not like Memento. Sorry. But I'm throwing it out there now. I don't. That conversation's going to come up. Let's not do that one. Let's write an original one from the ground up. Let's not even start with any ideas any of us already have. Let's try to come up with an idea. We'll work on it. We'll brainstorm it. When is it? It's in October.
Yeah. Well, no, it's
early registration is
starts,
October 1st to November.
So
30th.
do we have to have our idea, or do we have to just register by then?
No, just register.
Okay.
Scripts are due January 25th.
Yeah.
Of 2021.
So we got 5 months, basically 5.5 months. What? No, 5 months and 10 days, basically, because it's the 15th today, right?
I believe so. I mean, 7-minute film. I mean,
sounds right.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. And what is it? Z Systems does that, and I think they rent like equipment and whatnot. So,
So we got to put a budget together.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, excuse me. It'd be a good idea. I mean, I didn't know they had any of these. I just looked up the writing contests and things like that. But no, that's pretty cool. I didn't really know much about you till you came and until you started talking about you write a script and made a bunch of music videos and movies.
I definitely want to win
all day long.
I don't actually expect to win. That's just my competitive nature.
Right.
And don't be mad if I flip a table when we don't win.
Actually, I think that's required.
I've been known to flip a table or two or burn all my merchandise.
So no Battle of the Bands for you.
I love Battle of the Bands. Yeah. It's the one merger between music and football. There's a winner. You can't win music unless it's a battle.
It's a great way to get free music for a venue, right? Hey, we're gonna have a Battle of the Bands. We're giving away this cheap ass guitar,
dude. Here's the thing: is if you join a legit Battle of the Bands, it's one of the best ways to get fans.
Oh yeah,
it's one of the best ways to build your crowd.
You should do it
in a quick fashion.
Yep.
Like seriously, man, it's the bullshit battle of the bands that suck. And I get it. You know, you're playing politics and people are like, competition has no place. Fine, I get that and I respect that, but also understand if you can make it past the first couple rounds, if it's a legit battle, you'll play in front of 1,000 people as a brand new band.
Yeah.
So that gives you access to listeners that normally would have no fucking idea, and they would never hear your band because they don't regularly go out.
Have you heard of a band named Thera?
Thera?
Thera.
Yeah, I knew. I knew what's his name. I he gave him a bunch of ideas.
The handlebars.
And I forget his name, but I think Caden.
Yeah.
Is there a dude in that band named Caden?
I think so.
Yeah,
I don't know, they all had nicknames.
So do you remember? Right? Do you remember when I was managing those bands?
Yeah.
So I talked to a bunch of other bands and like sort of not mentored them, but like kind of explained like the mistakes we were making as a scene and as an industry. And that motherfucker, him and I had long conversations together, and that motherfucker took my advice and ran with it.
Oh yeah,
like that band. Did some shit.
They toured.
That is arguably.
They toured the country,
and the way and when they did it was arguably like them rising above their station, so to speak, like some from some old Roman shit. Yeah. And that was because I basically had seen and learned from the successful guys when those bands broke up and the managers disappeared. I took that knowledge, and then I was young enough to take it and adapt it, not reinvent the wheel, but realign the wheel to the new technology, which was the internet, right? So back in the day...
Is that them?
No, THIRA.
Oh,
so back in the day, you would play every 6 to 8 weeks in town.
Yeah.
Okay? And you had to do that to remain relevant, but not overplay.
Right.
Well, then I realized just this is just a simple... And I'm not going to like run on about this forever, but just this one adaptation. Well, now that there's the internet, and if your music isn't on the internet, your band isn't real. No. So you have to have it, right? Yeah. Well, now everyone has access to your music. They used to have to see every 6 to 8 weeks so they could fall in love with your songs, maybe buy your CD.
Yeah.
But now there's this online thing.
Yeah.
This is MySpace base. So I'm like, let's double that timeline. And I backed that off to every 3 months in town. Now, most local bands are like, well, what the fuck are we going to do in between that? Go play somewhere else, idiot.
Yeah.
Like, literally.
So
when I say every 3 months, that's the Twin Cities. And really, at the beginning, that's just Minneapolis. So you do Minneapolis, and then a month later you do St. Paul, and a month later you do St. Cloud, and a month later you do Duluth, and a month later you come back to Minneapolis, and you time them off. And if you time this out right with all these other cities, you're playing every Thursday, Friday, Saturday as a brand new band in this giant 3-month rotation, and all of a sudden within a year, you've got 500 to 1,000 people coming to see your band, and now fucking A&R execs are calling you going, hey man, we want to invite you out for a showcase. We've heard this buzz in the Midwest about you guys. If you don't have your bucket fucking holding water, you're fucked anyways. But at least there was a game plan. I had a lot of those things where I took old strategies, adapted them to the new technology and the new environment. And here's the point, man. I gave that advice to the 4 or 5 bands I was managing, including my own, right? That guy from Thera and a couple other people. And here's the crazy fucking irony. Those guys took that advice and ran with it, and their bands blew up. The bands I was managing, not one of them is still around till this day. Because they didn't take that advice. They didn't understand what I was saying. They didn't even want or even know how to be managed, let alone want to be managed. They wanted an assistant. And I'm still close friends with these guys. Jeremy's in my band now. We've had this conversation. Rich, the drummer from Wither, right? You've been listening to Wither, right? I recommended him last time we were on the podcast. Rich, the drummer from that band, is playing bass for me. I got 2 members of that band. I managed them for like 3 days. It's like a month or 2 or 3, but whatever. And we've still had this conversation. I'm like, you guys didn't want or even know how to be managed. You wanted a fucking assistant. You wanted somebody to manage your Facebook page. You wanted somebody to hang out at rehearsals and tell you were great. That's not a manager, dude.
Right.
A manager, when you guys are rehearsing, I was out at other people's shows, making connections, building my network. so I could gain opportunities for you guys. They had a problem with that. They didn't see that connection. And I was shocked. Like, I'm like, and I just talked to Rich today, and I'm sure we'll talk about it on the podcast when he comes on. He's coming on.
Okay.
And it's like, dude, you're tripping, bro. Like, I can't believe you, the person who taught me so much about this music industry, is asking me to come to your rehearsals.
Right.
Like, you don't want that. That's not a manager. That's an assistant.
Right.
You fuck? Like, what are you talking about, man? I need to be out here fucking meeting people and fucking building relationships.
Yep.
So I don't know, man. It's just it's a wild thing that like just the circle of how that shit comes all the way around. I don't remember where I started with this. It tied in from what we were just talking about the
we were talking about
movie
battle
and
of
TV
bands
show.
and TV. Yeah. And I
Oh yeah, the
up.
competition.
Yeah, and you know, I'll just mention this. They walked into Dean's for a Battle of the Bands, and I was judge. Me and Rod Thera.
Oh,
and you know, all the other bands
that
that played, they were the last
one. We were
one.
talking about Thera.
Yeah. And they walked in. These guys are in their costumes, right? And they're all like, you know, post-apocalyptic, you know. And,
they're kind of like a
Mad Max type stuff.
Mad Max
yeah, they were
kind of
like a gothic
Yeah,
industrial look.
The sound from them. So they you know, one of the things they said, no house lights. They had their own lighting. Everything was up lighting. They stood up there, and this is a small little bar, right?
Right.
And when they were done, I'm like, you know, they played what, 2 songs? And when they were done, I'm like, I just felt like I had an hour-long concert at the best rock show ever. And I actually did not like the way the singer did his thing. You know, it was one of those, you know, one of those, whatever they call that. I wasn't a big fan of that, but the music and the way he did his voice, perfect.
No shit.
And you know, Rod and I.
I never gave him advice on how to do music.
Yeah.
I gave him advice on like how to run their business.
Yeah.
And like
they were very smart.
Yeah, I'm not trying to pretend I fucking like manage them. I was just like, here's what you guys need to understand. This is a fucking business.
They still together?
Probably.
I don't know.
Some variation of them is probably together.
I'm not sure.
But this is what
I hope so.
This was my mantra, and this is what I told guys. It's called the music business. And is what you need to understand first and foremost is there's more business in the music business than there is music in the music business.
Very much true. Very true.
Most people nod their head and they go, yeah, man, I get that. Very few people actually understand it and understand the significance of what I'm telling them. Like they go, because what I'm telling you is like you could have the greatest music in the fucking world. But if you don't run your shit like a goddamn correct business and remain profitable and pay your employees, i.e. band members, motherfuckers are going to get desperate. They're going to starve and they're going to give up. And if you want a record label to come in and back you and get you on the radio and put you on tour with, name your favorite band, Guns N' Roses, fucking Megadeth, Wyclef Jean, Outkast, whatever genre of music you're in, you need to be profitable. Because they need to look at you like you're worth investing in. You see what I'm saying? They need to be able to make some fucking money because they also got families to feed. They got yachts to pay for. You want yachts? That's why you're trying to be a rock star and not just write that shit in your basement, right? Like you want the yachts, you want the mansions. Well, so do fucking they. And they only make 10% or 20%. Right. You see what I'm saying? So they not only need you to be legit, they need 10 other motherfuckers like you just to make the same amount of money.
Right.
So when you're, again, going back to this team thing, you got to have your shit together. Like, especially in the music industry. And that's what fucking blows my mind is like the difference between that and comedy. Even though you're you got kind of more of an improv comedy troupe, which is absolutely a team game. You still are in that world though.
Can you explain that a little bit more? I didn't really catch it when you were talking about it the first time around. Do you guys still do that now during COVID?
Yeah, but they're doing it on the Zoom things. That's what I asked about.
Right.
So,
I mean, do you have like a channel, or do you guys do it once a week, or?
Yeah. So we started off with an idea, right?
Will you beer me?
Yeah. Yeah. While you're in there, get me one too.
Hand me your bottle, Steve.
I'm the beer bitch today.
There we go.
It's not.
Oh, I may need one of these for unless I can go to the restroom. All right, so
you can go to the.
Yeah, I'll go.
You can go to the potty.
I'll explain how we started. So real quick, we did a little thing. It was a audition that Nathan had, and he was doing a little game called Two Restaurants, and we were in the studio.
For context, Nathan is a guy named Sword Lord.
Yes,
he's not very well liked, but he owned a movie theater and was heavily involved on the Minneapolis music scene.
Yes.
And he started doing this hybrid thing. He stole it. It was my fucking idea where we played a show.
Yeah.
Actually, no, sorry. It wasn't us. But Solace and Ashes did a show where we played a concert. And then while we were playing, we played Army of Dead on the big screen on the thing while we were playing.
Mm-hmm.
He took that idea and stole it from me and started doing it to bring people to his theater. And then he got involved with you guys and a bunch of other people and started doing like his own little film festival thing and trying to make movies and shit like that.
That's his passion.
So that's the context of where that was coming from. That's probably part of the reason why it's so confusing. Because
what theater does he own? I heard he owns.
Well, he owns Woodbury 10, or the Woodbury Theater, Woodbury 10, I think it's called, and St. Michael's.
The one in Woodbury, is that the Carmichael? That's not Carmichael.
Nope,
is it?
it's just Woodbury 10.
Just Woodbury 10.
Yeah.
And what was the other one? I'm sorry.
St. Michael's, up in St. Michael.
Oh, I know where that is.
Up 94, right off 94.
Yep. Well, he must be struggling with business right now.
Oh, it's rough. It's totally rough. So, yeah.
Is he going to reopen, or is he?
He's reopened, but
he
partially.
is reopened.
Partially, yeah. You know, all that distancing and all that crap. And he can only open up like 25% capacity. It's just insane.
And so your show, you were saying?
I'm a pussy. I got to do it on this side. All right. Let's see. Man training.
Yep.
I'm a man. All right. I just need something to smoke now. All right. So yeah, we were doing a little game called Two Restaurants, and then I'm like, hey, you know, this is like, whose line is it anyway? And I'm recording this. Shit, if I edited this down into like a TV show, this would be kind of fun.
Right.
So the idea was born, and I was volunteering at the studio.
Right.
And I thought, okay, I've got all the credits and whatnot for the studio to do the, basically just bring a production in. I started learning everything I needed to learn, and we just started doing a show. And it's been 2 years. And now we're doing it online,
right?
And I've got a backlog of editing to do, so yeah, we're just keeping it going.
And that's what we were talking about earlier. That's got to be so awkward doing it online.
It is. We do it twice a week. We do a short, and then we do a full episode online. Before, we were doing 5 episodes in the studio on a Saturday, and then I would edit those out once a week. But what other option
do you even have?
No.
You have an improv comedy show, like I said, we were talking about earlier, like musicians, it's kind of easy for us, right? Unless you're a fucking slacker, where you're like, oh man, we can't play concerts and tour this summer. What are we going to do? Write another fucking album.
Exactly.
Write 3 fucking albums. Like, write the next 4 years of your library until you can go back on tour.
Yeah.
If you're a stand-up comedian, start a fucking YouTube channel. Do what Andrew Schultz is doing. Do what fucking Andrew Dunnigan is doing.
Yep.
You can do these little one-man productions. But goddamn, dude,
just
what do you do if you're an improv comedy troupe? You gotta go online, right?
We just went Zoom. Yeah. We
started. What's the name of it again?
Scenes from a Hat.
No, your production company, or
Scenes from a Hat.
Oh, that's
what it's under. Yeah, it's youtube.com/scenes from a hat.
Okay.
And yeah, like I said, we just had to do something. The studio said, nope, we're not taking anybody else in, and we're shutting down. And we're like, crap, what the hell are we gonna do? All right. We started doing Zoom meetings at work, and I'm like, screw this, man.
Like, you got to do the Zoom thing if you're, because again, I hope people understand why I'm not letting this go, because you're an improv comedy troupe.
Yeah.
That's like, go ahead. I know you got to pee.
Yeah,
go ahead. I'll talk to Nick about this, because I want Nick to walk this through, because neither one of us are comedians or actors. But think about this, Nick.
Yeah.
Like, we understand what it's like to be in a band, so we need our other people, right?
Yeah.
But we could get together in a room. There's 5 of us, right?
Right.
Like, we can find some. Not everyone's willing to do this right now. I know a lot of people whose bands are like, sorry, dude, can't rehearse, man. Social distancing, like cross-contamination. Not mocking them right now.
Mhm.
I got personal friends that aren't doing this. I'm not mocking you if you're not rehearsing. But we could still do it. We could absolutely still fucking do it. And even if you're not willing to come in the same room and us all rehearse and continue to write music, we still have the ability for me to write a guitar riff on this computer, send it to you. You can write your fucking drum beat on your computer. Like, yeah, okay, you might have to spend a little money, but if you're a musician in this day and age, you probably have this equipment. And if you don't, you're probably struggling, and it's kind of a moot point anyways. Right? Like, get your fucking life together. You're trying to be a professional musician, you better have some way to record.
Right.
Even if I don't have a computer, we joked about this when you were here and I couldn't find it. I've been texting you. I've got this old school piece of shit right here. You remember this?
Yeah, I remember that.
And then I've got this, which is a newer digital version, right?
Right.
So you send me your computer file. I download it onto an SD card. I load it into the side of this bad boy, and boom, your guitar riff or drum track is right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I can record a new one right here on the next track, and then mix that down, send it back to the next guy who's a bass player. It may not sound great. We're not going to put a fucking album on the internet like this,
right?
But we can write music.
Right.
You feel me?
Oh, of course.
Now here's where I'm going with this. If you're an individual comedian, Andrew Schultz, let's take for example, can't do stand-up. Comedians need an audience to work on their material, unlike us.
Right.
We work on our material with each other. We don't give a fuck whether if you're a band worth your weight in salt, you don't give a fuck whether the crowd likes it or not yet, right?
Right.
We write music we like, and then we just play it. Now, if we find a song that no one seems to like, maybe we drop that song,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't like write songs, test it. Oh, that one seemed to work. Yeah, let's do more songs like that. Right? You follow me?
Yep.
We don't do that, right? That's exactly what a regular comedian has to do from the ground up.
Mm-hmm.
They write a joke, they test it, it fails. They rewrite it, it fails. They write it again. It does a little better, but it still fails. And they keep tweaking it because they know there's something there. But they need that crowd, different crowds, to test that out. But it's still a one-man show.
Right.
So a guy like Andrew Schultz, he pivots and he starts doing like his version of John Oliver. He goes, I'm not going to try to write stand-up bits. I'm going to try to write just straight up like monologues where there are no major pauses. There are no, oh, is this funny? Validate me, crowd. He hits it like almost like a TV show. He does these 5-minute clips. He's just fucking crushing it. Then you got Kyle Dunnigan, who does the face swap thing. Do you know who I'm talking about? No. Fuck.
If I saw his face, what's his name?
I probably
Kyle
recognize him.
Dunnigan.
Yeah, I probably see
if
him.
you go to his Instagram, he's got the best Instagram on the planet. It's in Kyle Dunnigan, just like it sounds. Kyle Dunnigan 1 with the number 1. I would pull it up here, but I'm afraid it's not going to play the audio now that we're running 3 mics, so we're going to leave that off for this podcast. But that dude's crushing it. Andrew Schultz is crushing it. Bring it full circle. You're a fucking improv comedy troupe. You have to be in the same room as the guys, right? So, like the analogy, Nick, of the band in rehearsal. We don't have to be in the same room to write music anymore.
Right.
An improv comedy troupe, they gotta be in the same room.
It's rough.
Because you're talking milliseconds of fucking, maybe it's a facial expression. They build on top of each other. I've taken these
Body
improv
language.
classes. I've been a part of these things.
Yeah.
It's a skill set that's at like the highest level
Yeah.
of a certain type of comedy. And then they also feed off the crowd, right?
Right.
So it's a sort of this weird hybrid where it's a team activity that still feeds off the crowd, because if the
Is
crowd
this your
isn't
site or your YouTube page?
Yeah, that's it.
if the crowd isn't
Yeah.
laughing,
It's one of them.
if the crowd isn't laughing, one improv actor can take and switch gears and run in a different direction, and you feed off the energy of the crowd. Imagine taking all that away and you're doing an improv comedy troupe online where there is no crowd.
Yeah.
Duder just flat out admitted to us earlier. He's like, it was so awkward. I even tried to pump in fucking laugh tracks.
Yeah.
And I was like, ugh,
it's so
gross.
Hard. Yeah.
I feel for you guys, man. That's where I'm going at with this. I'm not making fun of you guys. I hope I don't come across like that. I'm sympathizing with you guys because that has to be the most. And here's the point, dude. These improv comedians, whether let's say we're talking about Jack and Jill and her team of 8, whether they're personally funny or not is irrelevant.
Right.
This industry is vital to most of the comedy that we know, that we watch on TV.
Yeah.
Like Second City.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Fucking there's the SNL guys. A lot of that shit is like written, but a lot of it's also improv.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And it's just goddamn, because the Saturday Night Live shit sucks.
Yeah.
Saturday Night Live at home is the worst.
It is.
It's not good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It brings them down to our level.
Right.
Like
Really does.
the three of us can make a show right now that has the same level of comedy and quality as Saturday Night Live at home. Think about that.
Yeah.
Just for, and I'm not only talking to these guys, but I'm also saying this in regards to the listeners, because like I don't think a lot of people are thinking about these things. No. We think about these things because we're entertainers. We're musicians or comedians or writers or fans of these industries. A lot of people are just consumers. So they don't even realize it.
I'm not a comedian. I play one on TV though.
Right?
Yeah. No, you know, and I started doing the online thing because honestly, all the players that were involved, and we had like upwards of 21 people involved with the TV show, and you know, it fluctuated, but I thought, geez, you know, everybody really enjoyed coming. You know, I've heard all of them say, you know, I look forward to the Saturday, which is our third Saturday of the month, of going in the studio and doing the show. You know, not for the TV credit, not for getting on TV, but just to be around other people and do it.
Right.
And I said, all right, I'm making this happen online. It may suck, but at least we're getting together. And they said this is one of the things they enjoy is they look forward to getting online and just doing their thing and interacting with people. We end up spending about an hour afterwards, each show that we do, an hour afterwards, just hanging out and chatting.
Well, dude, I hung out with you guys at the bar one night.
Yeah.
You guys did a show. I think you filmed at like noon.
Yeah.
And then I showed up in fucking downtown Minneapolis at like 4 or 5, 6 o'clock. You guys were sitting down having dinner, having drinks. It was like a little. It was like being in a band. I could see it, like the chemistry and just the history. And it's like, again, just having that purpose, just having something to do, even if you're not making money. You don't have to do everything we're talking about to be successful or to make money. But just having a purpose, having something to fucking do, other than the monotony of survival.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because survival now is easy. Survival, back in the day was all the stimulation you needed. Fuck, man, we gotta fucking find some food today, Nick. Fuck, Steve. We need to figure out where we're getting water, bro. Like, okay, you do that, I'll do this, and then the third one, you know what? I'll build a fucking shelter. Like, we gotta get through this weekend. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, man.
Yeah. But
now, all you gotta do is get a shit job that you don't give a fuck about, make just enough money to go to the grocery store where somebody else got that food. And we live these comfortable, boring, mundane lives where we feel like we don't have a purpose because we're not getting any fulfillment. Most of us aren't. Most of us aren't getting fulfillment out of our fucking shit-ass day jobs. You know what I mean? That's why everyone has a fucking hobby. You think you had a hobby when you were a fucking caveman? No, man. You were fighting for fucking tooth and nail, right?
Things,
yeah. Like, people didn't even have hobbies during World War II. Like, maybe some dude fucking whittled wood, but guess what? That was so he didn't shoot himself while waiting to be bombed in the trenches. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, dude. You did things out of survival, or you seen a gap because shit was really fucking difficult to do. So you made an invention. Like, man, it's tough to carry a candle outdoors at night. It'd be great if we could have a light bulb, you know? And they're already at the same time kind of flirting with battery technology because they were flirting with electricity and batteries all at the same time and shit, right? Like, oh, let's get something that doesn't fucking blow out in the wind. You know, it's fucking survival, man, because you're getting eaten by fucking lions and fucking mountain lions, so to speak, and fucking bears and shit.
People are gonna do what they need to do to survive.
Yeah, it's a tough thing, dude. Yeah. And that's why I was saying earlier. That's why I feel for you guys, man. The improv guys. Fuck, dude. And it's so awkward. You have no crowd to feed off of.
No. We get a few texts now and then so that we can get some. We try to keep it live, right? So how we're different from Whose Line Is It Anyway is that we go to the audience for basically almost everything.
Right.
Instead of drawing from the cards.
Instead of just having it pre-made. And that way, people know, hey, this is real improv. These people are not, we have a practice where we practice techniques, but we don't rehearse anything because you can't rehearse improv. You can practice techniques, but you can't rehearse improv. And so when an audience member says, you're at the park with an axe murderer, yeah, man, that's your scene. You got to deal with it. And
the crazy thing is, how do you be funny with that, right? Because I can put myself in that spot, but that just makes me want to fight.
See,
right? But how do you take that and be hilarious?
Some people are really good. There's a guy on the show. He will walk up and go, "Hi, I'm your axe murderer. I'll be your axe murderer tonight." And that's the guy. The best line is, "Hi, I'm a goat." I mean, it was so funny. It was because it was completely out of context, and it's the wit, it's the wisdom, and the quickness. And then there's others who just play everything straight, and they're not very funny. They get it across. They kind of help the scene move along,
right?
But they're not really witty funny. And it's the guys who are really witty funny that really move things along. And that's nice.
And to do that in one take on the spot, I can't do that shit, dude. I'm only funny when I'm like sitting in the car, like, because I've done a little bit of shit in front of the camera, and like, again, if I know it's just rolling and I'm comfortable with the people and I can just riff, and like I start getting the room to laugh, then I can really do some shit, and then fucking you'll grab it and post and edit it up and chop it up, and it'll be great. Yeah. But man, no, you put me on the spot, dude. I did those improv classes, dude. I froze up. Yeah. I froze up so bad, dude. And people would be shocked because we played in front of crowds and shit. They're like, "You done live music?" I'm like, "Bitch, that's just all rehearsed." Like I pushed my bands. You can attest. I pushed us so fucking hard in the rehearsal space to where we were prepared for all those things to go wrong. You remember how many times I'd do that? I'd walk up and grab his cymbal and mute it, so he'd be playing and I'd just grab a cymbal, so every time he hit it, it didn't make a noise. And he would get so fucking irritated with me. But is what I was preparing him for is that cymbal just broke. Yep. That cymbal just broke. It doesn't sound right now. Right. Are you gonna let that fuck with your fucking coordination? And it was like trial by fire. You remember this shit. And I used to drive him nuts. And then we would play shows and he'd go, "Now I understand. I get it." And it was so funny because we'd lose a member. Nick was a huge factor in the band for a long time before we really got out there and started doing shit. And we'd lose a member and a new guy would come in and he'd fucking get frustrated with me or the way I did things. And Nick would just be like, "Dude, you need to just ride that wave. Dude, you need to understand, like, he's preparing you. These things seem insane, but they're all going to happen on stage. It's not like if it's going to happen. It's like all of these things are going to happen." Right. That's what he's setting you up for. He'll walk over. I'll walk over and grab your cymbal and like tip it to the side. Like I'll gently do it so I don't break anything, but I'll tip it over just the side. You know why? Because that's simulating you being on a rickety stage where where your drums are literally, the stage is moving so much and your fucking cymbal stand falls over. How do you make it through this song without that cymbal? Not only in the first drill did I mute it so it doesn't sound right because it broke in this simulation, right? But now you're completely fucked up because it's not even there. It doesn't even exist. Yeah. And people would, dude, guys would lose their fucking minds. But I'm like, dude, here's the point: is we can't be expected to improv, right? Because I took those classes. I'm like, you don't get it. Yeah. Like, this is rehearsing. We're preparing. Yeah. We're putting ourselves in these horrible situations. How many times did I walk over and just unplug one of the guitar players? Remember that shit?
One too many.
Dude, because
that happened.
Because shit would happen on stage.
That happened.
Somebody would step on a chord and boom, you're unplugged. How can you figure out, oh shit, I'm unplugged. Keep your composure so you don't give it away. Everyone hears a difference, but nobody knows which guitar player just got unplugged. Unless it's the soloist who's suddenly going...
Broken Spoke, Daytona Bike Week. Rod and I go down.
Yep.
Dave Hall's up there and playing his bass.
Oh, Dave Hall, Super Dave. He's got a YouTube channel now. He's doing covers.
Oh, yeah. Pot goes off. It is so strong, it pops the power on his bass, on his wireless. So his bass is off. And he's like, he can't figure out what's going on. And you gotta think about these things, like that's what
you gotta
happens.
be battle hardened, dude.
And he got it, within less than 2 minutes. So, but still,
I bet
that's
that
the
2
kind of
minutes
thing.
felt like 2 hours.
Oh, it did to him. Yeah, he said, "Oh my god, this is like ridiculous."
And even somebody in the crowd, and that's the thing is you got to be ready for that shit.
But the rest of the band was completely professional. Just kept going, and that was it. And
that's why I don't like those super elaborate bands with a lot of crazy shit.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, how do you pull that off when one of those things goes wrong?
Yeah.
Like for live, it's got to be a minimalist setup. That's why I go back to the organic rock and roll philosophy. We did this in 7 months. Remember, Mark used to talk about this. This is the first place I ever heard this outwardly. We were in a band together with Mark Milbrandt on guitar, and Mark said, no, you guys, our job is to capture our sound on record. And I knew exactly what he meant. Like, no, we have a thing here. Our job is to get that on record, not the other way around. And that, if you can pull that off, if you can catch your vibe and get that on record, that's going to be a lot better for you than trying to record an album like Dystrophy. Remember that crazy box they had where the lights, they had backing tracks, harmonized backing vocals. Everything was in this box. They called it the brain. And when that brain didn't work, their show wasn't right. And it showed in their performance because they were distracted. They were trying to compensate. They weren't ready for this. So you go back to that minimalist setup, eliminate all the things that can go wrong. How? Make sure that you can physically perform everything you're trying to perform on stage that you recorded on record, not the other way around. You don't record 78 instruments and then go, okay, guys, we're going to do this as a 3-piece. And then you're going to play this thing. Because what if your backing track goes down? Now your music sucks.
Yeah.
That's what made Muse so impressive. You remember Muse? You ever listen to Muse?
Oh, love them.
I don't think so.
You should check them out, dude, because they're a 3-piece. They're doing all that with 3 dudes.
Yeah.
That's when people talk about Muse, especially as musicians, because a lot of people just went, oh, I fucking can't stand that band. Here's the thing, you guys. You have to understand they're doing it with 3 dudes. All of that sound is with 3 guys.
How do you spell it?
M-U-Z or no, M-U-S-E.
Yeah.
Muse.
Like Muse.
Oh, Muse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you're my muse. Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, those dudes are fucking those dudes are champs. Those dudes are fucking champs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish there was a way we could play music on the podcast without getting flagged for licensing rights.
Yeah.
Cuz like being such a musician, it would be so great to be able to like even just play 30 seconds of this without getting clipped by Sony or Virgin Records or fucking
You gotta do a
Atlantic.
reaction video. They don't get flagged.
I'm not fucking doing
I
no
know.
reaction video, dude. I ain't doing no fucking reaction video, bro. Were we talking about this earlier on the phone? I was talking to somebody about this on the phone earlier today, dude. The level of quality of content on the internet has dramatically dropped since COVID. Because there's so many people out there putting out content. They're all they all identified a format that worked. So let's be white people and react to fucking hip hop music. Let's be black dudes and react to rock and heavy metal music. Let's be random people doing cheesy pranks on the fucking street. You know what I mean? Let's be another random asshole who's doing improv fucking ad-lib rapping on the street. There's like, like seriously, everyone, as I'm saying this out loud, everyone's going, I know exactly what he's getting at. Because everybody identified these types of videos are successful.
Yeah.
These type of videos go viral.
Yep.
And everybody's doing them, but they're doing them at a subpar level. So we're being flooded with this subpar content out there right now online. Dude.
Every teenager is thinking, I can do that.
Yeah, dude. There's so many guys watching these like try not to laugh challenges, and it's like, dude, I watched that whole video and didn't laugh.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even chuckle.
Yeah.
Like you don't even know how to pick funny content, you fuck. Let alone be funny in your reaction.
Right.
Oh my god, dude, it's so bad. There's
the
so
father-
many
It's
assholes.
the father and son hot pepper eating. Oh my god, those are so.
Anybody can become an internet star today.
Yeah.
No, you can't. You gotta still
you
be No, you can't, dude. Because I'm watching it. I'm watching fucking hundreds of these people out here with these trash ass channels.
Right, but
people
they
are-
have millions of subscribers. And
No, they don't.
Yes, they
A
do. My
lot
kids
of them-
watch them.
They're so.
There's a lot of those, people that watch video games or open toys, or they've got millions of subscribers. It's ridiculous.
they're
But
getting
they
them.
were doing that shit before the lockdown. I'm talking about this new rush in the last 3 months,
Right.
where people are mimicking the
they're
toy
mimicking,
opening
yeah,
videos. They're going, oh, PewDiePie's got 10 million subscribers. I'm just gonna make videos like PewDiePie.
Yeah.
But they're not fucking as good as PewDiePie. They're not. You know what I
Right,
mean? It's
no.
almost like what I'm doing here. Like it's not as good as Joe Rogan. I stole his format. It's clear. It's obvious. Let's not even pretend. I've been very open about that. Like I'm not trying to be Joe Rogan. Right, but I
I
stole
want
his
to be
format.
Joe Rogan.
But I stole his format. Let's just not lie. It's fucking three assholes sitting around bullshit and talking about whatever the fuck we want, right?
Mhm.
I got a couple cans. It's a low key, chill environment. Fuck with the colored lights. Now it even looks like early Joe Rogan. Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like, but
Thank you.
here's the point, right? There's not 1,000 other people on YouTube doing this format. There's Joe Rogan, and then there's this asshole.
Mhm.
There's a million people doing the toy unboxings. There's a million people doing the fucking gaming streaming thing. So you got to still be unique in order to be successful in that niche. You see what I'm getting at? Like you can't just
I
be
do.
anybody and throw yourself on the internet and be a star. That's
Exactly.
still not true. Like those dudes are still putting in the work to make high quality content,
Mhm.
to be funny, to be entertaining, to be charismatic. They're investing in good sound. They're
Mhm.
investing in good cameras, right? They're editing their videos. They're still trying to figure it out. I'm specifically talking about these new random people who are showing up in the last 3 months since COVID lockdown, and they're straight up stealing
Yeah.
like somebody else's deal and then trying to literally content. There's this, I can't remember.
Ride that wave.
There's this blonde girl, I can't remember her name, but this blonde girl literally has stolen online bits and monologues from other female blondes.
Mm.
And then so Nicole Arbor, whether you like her or not, she's been doing this online thing, these jump cuts, these like funny little rants for years.
Mhm.
Well, this new bitch about 3 months ago took a bunch of her material and a bunch of other people's material and put her own video out there. You see what I'm saying? Like literally just straight up stealing it.
Right.
So people are going, well, I'm just going to recreate this PewDiePie video. I'm just going to recreate this guy's video.
Right.
Like I'm watching someone react to a video that I've already watched 35 fucking people react to. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like they're not even able to find new original content
Right.
because there's just a lack of shit out there because everyone's on fucking lockdown. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
It's just flooded with subpar bullshit.
Yeah. Even it's really hard. Even with original material, it's hard. Right. Original ideas and whatnot. There are not many improv groups out there. Minnesota, there's a Fantastic Voyage. They're doing it. Their viewership is low.
What's Brave
they
New
should.
Workshop doing?
Or
Or is it Brave Little Workshop?
No, it's Brave New Workshop. And,
I always mix up Brave New World and Brave Little
Yeah.
Toaster.
I don't think they're doing an online thing. I haven't seen anything.
So they just shut her down.
Yeah, I think so.
See, that's what I'm talking
about. Before COVID, I was reaching out to them so that we can get in there and do live act. Yeah.
There's a few bands out there trying to do like the fucking live jams and
Yeah.
shit.
When you go to the studio and you actually have people there watching you when you do it, when it's
Yeah.
not during COVID, obviously. But-
Yeah, we try to attract a lot of studio people. People just to come in.
Mhm.
We even tried to feed them lunch too, but tried what we could.
Let me know when you do that again.
Yeah,
please.
You did well when you were doing the House of Comedy.
Yeah,
thing,
we
though.
did great. We had tons of people. We had over 200 people in the first show at House of
Which
Comedy.
for a comedy show, those numbers are
And for that venue,
significant.
they say they could hold 300, but I mean, we looked around where they're going to put another 100 people in there. There was
Right.
no seats open, so
Right.
I don't know what they're saying, but yeah, we did pretty good in the studio. Our best one was we had we called it a cookie show. It was in December, and we filled that studio with like, I don't know, 50 to 60 people.
Well,
That was our best, showing in studio.
right.
For the most part, it's the other players, but
Mhm.
with 5 episodes, four people per episode,
Mhm.
do the math. That's a lot of people in the studio at once.
Right.
So, and
I
that's,
think even Ellen only has like 150 people.
and this studio's small, and they don't even have enough chairs, right?
Right.
So we had we grabbed chairs from the conference room. We grabbed chairs from people's cubicles who weren't there on Saturday. We brought them in from everywhere. And
What
just sat 'em
studio
down.
do you use? What studio go to?
It's a Town Square Television. Yeah, it's in Amber Grove Heights. It's just a
Okay.
small little thing right next to Applebee's, and it's great because it's free. You pay your membership dues, and you can use it all you want all year. So,
Yeah, and that's
you know,
kind of
there's
where
a
we
lot of them.
started off. Like Tom Green
Yeah.
started that
Yeah.
shit,
Yeah.
And you were talking about the podcast thing earlier. Like, dude, you don't have to do all this, dude. Like, this is a huge swing.
Yeah.
But this also was necessary for my style of podcast, for my format. This, like,
Right.
we call it the Rogan style, the open format, the long form discussion, the table, the chill, the multicam setup.
I
but
just
you
want to
could
do something.
so much different.
I just want to do like a podcast where we talk about film and then we review films. And the only problem is I don't really know like how to set that up with the limited budget I'm on.
Yeah.
To where it's going to interest people, because you really have to when you're talking about film and reviews and things like that, you really have to grab that audience, that demographic.
Mhm.
And I've seen a lot of review people on YouTube, and there's a few good ones, like Jeremy Johns is good, and Chris Stuckman's good, and FlickPick is good.
But that's like high
But
level premium content.
Well,
And
it
those guys
is,
didn't start
but-
there, bro.
Well, I know that Chris Stuckman started on YouTube in his basement where he had like a bunch of movie posters behind him, and it looked like it was filmed on a phone. I don't know if it was, but now he's actually a lot better with his shows. But so that's what I would like to do. Just need to be able to set it up properly and have interesting people to talk to, because I can talk, but I'm not going to sit there and talk to myself for 3 hours, or talk to you through the camera. I don't want to do that.
That's the hardest part when you're doing something like that. Is you like, man, I can't tell you if I had to do this like how Bill Burr does it, where he does a podcast where it's just him and he just talks
Yeah,
to
I've
no
seen that.
one.
I've heard
I
of it,
can't
yeah.
do that.
No.
Like, I give him so
can't
much
either.
credit.
It's like the improv thing. You need somebody to bounce off of.
Yeah.
You need somebody
What the
to
fuck is this?
talk to.
So I was going to tell you, one thing that is so simple is to get people together and just do some like comedy, right?
Mhm.
Like just throw. I was doing this as a promo for this cookie show.
You hold on. You know what I can do is I can pull this up
Oh yeah.
on here. We just
Sure.
won't share it,
Okay.
but we'll play it in the background.
Sure,
So
sure.
just tell me what
Yeah,
to look
so-
up on YouTube.
It's on Facebook.
Tell me what to look up on YouTube.
Oh, it's not on YouTube though.
You son of a bitch.
I know. I should put it on YouTube because this shit's funny. I just went out, so I had decided I needed a
All right,
promo.
you guys talk. I gotta piss.
Yeah, I had a promo.
I'm getting drunk. We're celebrating podcast number 11, guys.
Yeah.
Having a threesome.
Yeah, having a threesome.
First three-way podcast that I've been able to pull off. Technologically, we're making strides, boys.
There you go.
We're making strides, boys.
Oh, there we go. So basically, this is a
Whatever you do, don't fucking play that and be silent because no one can hear that.
yeah, exactly. So again, I was promoting the cookie show. We call it the cookie show. We basically had everybody do a bake off and bring them all to the studio.
Right.
And then we invited just tons of people, and it was really successful. Everybody came in and ate cookies and hot chocolate and coffee and whatnot. And so for the promo, I got this idea that I would take these caricatures that I could find off the internet
Mm-hmm.
and and since it wasn't really wide distribution, I wasn't worried about getting cease and desist stuff.
Right.
But I created a bunch of these videos based on dialogue, and these guys got together. Nathan's our host, and got 4 other players, and another guy who could do some great voices. And these guys, I just threw out. I said, let's do this, and they would just improv the hell out of this little scene.
Right.
And it was just they had a mic set up, and they were just talking to the mic, and that was it. And they just did these things. Like a couple guys did Cheech and Chong, and they just back and forth, and it was so funny. We spent 4 hours in this guy's basement laughing our asses off the whole time, and I recorded all of this. And what I would do is, I didn't realize this was playing. What I did was I grabbed these caricatures of like Cheech and Chong and Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and what I did was I just lit them up, so I had them dimmed, and then whenever they were speaking, I made them like normal brightness, right? And when they weren't, they were
translucent,
or dimmed down.
Or dimmed,
yeah. And so a lot of graphic editing type stuff, and it was so funny doing this. And what made it really funny was the guys were just hilarious. I mean, they were just fantastic. So even just getting a bunch of guys together to talk and just do just throw stuff out, and then you take that content and just put something to it.
Right.
That's what's really good. I mean, you can do that, and you can get some really good content from that. So yeah, you know what? You've inspired me. I'm going to go ahead and put these on the internet. Yeah.
You should.
Let the lawyers come. I don't care.
I mean, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
People are
Screw
starving
them.
for content. Somebody was asking me about that. Fucking dude, why are you putting out episodes? Why don't you just like put one out a week and let them fucking simmer?
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, people are starving for content, man.
I was going to do a weekly webisode with this. Get the guys together. 1 8-hour session. We could get enough content for 6 months.
Right.
It is just something.
Every time I go to Scenes from a Hat, it brings me to an event.
Oh, really? On what?
On Facebook.
On Facebook? If you just do facebook.com/scenes from a hat, that'll bring you right to our page. And you just go to videos, and that's right there.
I mean, at least you're keeping busy through this time too,
Yeah, that's the thing is with my job, I was in the office. Now I'm at home writing software, and it's it's 8 hours of being on the computer, and then another 4 hours after that being on the computer for myself. So it's pretty much being on the computer the whole time. So it gets a little old. So the comedy.
You gotta be careful managing that screen time, man.
I
People
know.
are fucking losing their minds with all this.
Yeah,
shit.
they are. That's
Working
why
from home looking at screens way longer.
Exactly. That's why I keep my sanity by playing board games. I just bought Wingspan, which is a great game. And it's one player. You can play against what's called Automa, and it's just a way that you set up another player that is card based.
Right.
But it is so much fun because you get 2 things out of it. One, you're not going insane and murdering people, and you're building your skills in this game. And then I go and meet with a bunch of people, and we play games. And COVID-19 be damned. So screw that. It's like we're doing a podcast, so but we know everybody, and we're safe, except for one guy. He's a bus driver, and we worry about him all the time. So
Sure.
Yeah, but he's tested like weekly, so we know that he's COVID free, and
He needs to be getting tested
Well,
daily.
yeah.
I mean, I guess now's the perfect time to start podcasts and start doing more things because everybody's at home.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, this time at home definitely has inspired me to move forward with things because you start to realize, well, I don't really have anything else to fucking do.
Right.
But good for you, man. Good for you. You're getting out there. You're bringing people entertainment in any way, form, shape, or form that you can do it.
Yeah, trying our best.
Same thing here.
Well, my boys,
sending the
I was
stuff
just
out.
looking at this thing while you were saying that, and I was like, my boy Zach, the first guest on the podcast, did this fucking cool story creative, the woodworking thing. He started with these light boxes, fucking like I had him make these coasters. He said he was going to do some coasters. I fucking hit him up. I ordered these specifically for the podcast because I wanted them. But like, just figure out whatever the fuck it is that you can, even if you're not going to start a business and make money, because that's what we've been kind of centering around these last 10 podcasts is like, how do we fucking monetize? How do we make money? How do we start our own business? Because everyone lost their jobs, right? Well, not everyone lost their jobs. Some people are perfectly fucking fine, like yourself.
Right.
But you're stuck at home.
Yeah.
You don't have the ability to go to concerts. So you're
Right.
just trying to not lose your fucking mind. So maybe you play board games. Maybe you join. Probably not do an online thing because you already got too much screen time.
Yeah.
So you got to figure out ways to get away from that fucking screen right now.
Yeah.
It's wild. I seen this meme. It was probably about a week ago. I seen this meme. It said, in this, when the internet first came out, it was an escape from the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Now the real world is an escape from the internet. That shit hit so fucking hard because the picture was this dude on top of the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it was. It's like you would go to the fucking internet because you could get in this fantasy land and have all this fucking fun and live this other life. And it was escape from all your real world problems.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now, 20, 30 years later, it's completely flipped on its head. We all live online and we escape from that and go camping now. How fucking bizarre is that, dude?
Yeah.
Like, that's some crazy ass shit, dude.
Real life has become second life.
So if you're thinking about, like, you're losing your mind, get off the computer.
Yeah.
Right now.
Put the phone down, get off the computer.
A year or two ago,
Yeah.
it would have probably been the exact opposite. I'd have been like, start playing video games, you know? Find a new TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Find something where you can escape the real world. And because that's why we love movies, right? That's why we love TV shows.
Yeah.
That's why we love video games. That's why we fell in love with music or concerts or sports, right? I've been talking about the Colin Kaepernick thing a lot because it's relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to think about politics for a few hours once a week.
Escape from reality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now we're in this literal Stranger Things. We're in the upside down.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, Kate and I during the riots, man, we had to stop watching the news. We had to turn the TV off for like 3 solid days.
Mm-hmm.
No more TV. None.
Yeah.
Because it's just too much.
I don't even watch TV. I mean, the news anyway.
It's so...
I just watch streaming services, man. I mean, every time you turn on the TV on any kind of news network, it's fucking depressing.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
All of it is.
So,
It's
yeah,
like, this
I'm
shit
gonna...
is still going on, you know.
Yeah, I'm going to watch movies. I'm going to read my book. I'm going to write because I don't want to be in the real world.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
I was just telling my parents the other day, you walk outside, nobody's fucking smiling. Nobody's looking you in the eyes. And if they do, it's full of tension.
Right. Because you're not wearing your mask the right way.
It's a depressing fucking world right now.
Or because you are wearing a mask.
And I you know, I feel bad for my kids because they're the ones that have to embrace this new way of living because whether we're talking about COVID or we're talking about racial equality, it things have changed forever.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for my kids, you know, and I'm not afraid to send my kids to school, but I kind of am. And I never thought that as a parent I would ever have to feel that. I know when I was a kid, that people shooting up schools, that wasn't a thing.
No.
You know, you never heard of shit like that.
That never happened.
Kids
What was
being
it?
kidnapped.
Columbine in like 1997 was like the first one we heard of on national television.
And what just happened in North Carolina with that 5-year-old boy that was riding his bike on the front lawn and ran and rode his bike in the neighbor's lawn. And the fucker came outside and blew the kid's brains out at point blank range in front of his 2 younger sisters.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like, what the fuck has this world fucking come to?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't send my daughter down to the park. She's 10.
Yeah.
I can't just send her with a friend. I gotta go with.
Yep.
Because it's so fucking crazy out there, you know. And you look at people today when you're walking down the street. You look at people today, and you can see the fucking anger and fear mixed into one in everybody's eyes.
Yep.
And
I've had people tell me they can't do the
not,
podcast because it's not 6 feet. I mean, actually, from my face to your face, that's almost 6 feet.
Well, not even
what do we
that.
have, 5.5? But
I mean,
it wasn't good enough. That extra 6 inches to a foot was enough to get one person to say, I can't do your podcast unless you can guarantee me 6 foot. Like, okay, do you want to sit back by the light and I sit way over here?
Yeah.
When it comes to the current situation with COVID, we just all need to accept the fact that normal way of living that we know is gone. And when it comes to the COVID thing, okay, fine. I'm okay with that because I don't like people anyway. So stay the fuck away from me. Okay.
He finally just admitted he never leaves the house.
So
it's only taken us. Hold on. It's only taken us 2 hours and 38
now,
minutes.
hold on. I want to make
into
it clear.
this podcast for him to finally admit his fat ass never leaves the house.
When theaters are open, I go to the theater. If there's a good ball game, I'll take my son to a ball game, football game, whatever. But
it took 2.5 hours for him to admit his fat ass never leaves the house.
I don't have close friends. I've got a couple and a lot of acquaintances.
Yep.
Okay. But it's just the outside world today. It's an ugly place. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect because I'm definitely not. I've gotten into my
you're a total piece of shit.
I've never gotten into my battles with people and saying things I shouldn't have.
I'm the biggest piece of shit. Let's be honest.
That's part of being human. But
Right.
I'm telling you, like I said, the COVID thing. Okay, fine, I'll accept it. If I gotta wear a mask, fine, whatever. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Okay, just stay away from me.
Leave
Okay,
me alone.
don't come at me with your ideas of how I should live. Let me live in peace. Shut the fuck up. Don't hurt me or my family, and we're fine.
Yeah.
Exactly. But if they start, starting shit, and this goes for anybody. There's no one person that I'm pinpointing here. It's anybody.
Anybody, yeah.
Just leave me and my fucking family alone. You take care of your agenda. You go do your protest. You go do whatever it is you need to do.
Yeah.
Okay? Don't ask me about it because that's one thing I've learned today. You can't have a civil political conversation anymore.
No.
I mean, in person, it seems like we can. But online, we certainly fucking can't.
Because people,
you know what I mean?
Because it's a cowardly way to voice. To hide behind cowardly way to voice your opinions because there's nobody there to call you out on your shit. You can just ignore them if you want.
Exactly.
But I don't. Like I said, I know a few people. I know people that are cool. I do my fantasy football. Yeah. I've got my people that I like to be around, and most of the time my family, especially over the last 2-3 years, because you start to, like I said earlier, question your own mortality and you want to spend time with your family.
Exactly.
I feel bad for my kids.
Yeah.
That's who I feel bad for now because they're
it's
the ones that are
interesting because I think they're going to be fine.
They're pretty resilient usually. And
I think the reason we're so fucked up is because we lived in a world pre-internet.
Yeah.
I'm the last of this generation. So we got 3 generations of dudes here. Think about this for a second. 35, early 40s, mid 50s. Okay? There's 20 years of life
90s,
experience.
80s, 70s.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it is.
And I still feel like an 80s kid, but you're probably right. I'm a 90s kid by definition. I asked about that earlier, right? So you're probably right. 70s, 80s, 90s. Boom. Yeah. There you go. Okay, now here's the thing. We all grew up without internet, and we've, in our entire adult lives, have been trying to adapt to this new way of intaking information and data at an alarming rate. Yeah. I should probably not be leaning back against the camera. Jesus Christ. We've been drinking. I don't give a fuck anymore. Right? I'm actually pretty buzzed up. But okay, so we're our entire generation. You guys seem to have handled it better than our 2 generations. My generation seems to be handling it the worst. We're over emotional. We can barely dissect misinformation to disinformation to accurate facts, right? My little brother's generation, we call them Generation Z, I believe, or in other words, the Zoomers, right? That's apparently what we're calling them. The Zoomers are the shit, dude. Like my little brother, they're into good music, and I'm not just talking anecdotally with my little brother. I'm talking the entire generation. Like they're into good music, like classic rock, really good heavy metal that was made. Like they've been able to figure out who was good at every genre of music
Mhm.
throughout the last 40 years, and they're into it.
Yep.
And they're able to look at all the bullshit that came out following those good bands in the last 40 years and be like, nah, that's bullshit.
I am shocked at how much my kids like the old music.
Dude, they're into Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
They're into Queen.
Yeah.
My little brother, his favorite band is fucking Queen. He's 19.
Yeah.
The fuck does he know about Queen? Queen
Right?
had been done for 25 years before he
Yeah.
was born.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, think about that.
Yep.
And that's his favorite band.
Yep.
And he's not the exception to the rule.
Mm-hmm.
His entire generation is into that shit. The Zoomers aren't into modern day music. Like, they're going to save art. They're going to save music. And why I brought them up in context to what you're saying, or what I asked, whatever, they seem to have this ability to not only suss through the internet's bullshit, but go on the offensive. So, for example, whether you're a Trump supporter or not, think about this. They saw through enough of the political bullshit, right? So let's leave Trump out. He just happens to be the example right now. This really isn't about Trump. When we were kids, it was George Bush. When you were kids, it was probably Clinton. When you were kids, it was
Bush.
Reagan.
Bush.
Okay, early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Really, for you, though,
It was
would've been-
Reagan.
It would have been Bush into Clinton.
No, it would have been
No,
Reagan.
he was
into
Reagan.
Bush.
Yeah, I was
because he's
Jimmy.
class of 84.
Yeah.
Reagan was from 80 to 88.
Right,
Yeah.
but when
Yeah.
did you graduate high school?
Oh, graduate
yeah,
high
yeah,
school? 96.
There you go. Middle of Clinton. Right. Okay. So at some point in time, we realized whoever was president at the time, the government was full of shit. So this transcends the person.
Was.
Is.
All right.
Yeah,
But,
thank you.
But at the time, you're like, oh, the government is full of shit. Yeah, well, the government's always been full of shit.
Yeah.
You're just realizing it for the first time. For me, it was 9/11 and old George W. Bush. For you, it was mid-Clinton. For you, it was the beginning of Reagan.
Reaganomics.
Right,
Reaganomics.
exactly.
Yeah.
I think you see where I'm going with
Oh,
this.
yeah. Oh yeah.
These kids, you know what they did to Trump? Is they all fucking communicated on TikTok and made a bunch of false reservations to his rally. So he thought it would be fucking packed with like 100,000 people or some insane number, and like 8,000 people showed up. Here's the thing. I don't care if you're a Trump supporter or not. That shit is fucking hilarious, dude. And that is a genius level move.
Yeah.
We would not have done that. We would not have thought of that. The Zoomers did. These fucking kids are our only hope. It's like the new Star Wars, A New Hope.
Yeah.
Like, help me, Zoomers. You're our only hope. Dude, for real, dude. If anybody's going to get us out of this shit, it's going to be those little fucks. It's going to be my generation, the like not so softy little fucks. Because no offense, Boomer, your whole generation fucked this up. You guys aren't doing any better as you guys have taken over.
We had Coke. We introduced Coke. That was our contribution to
But you know what
our
I'm getting
society.
at. You guys really fucked it up to begin with. You're not doing any better to manage it. The guys at my age that are getting in control are making it so much worse. Our only fucking hope is that Zoomer generation, because basically we got to hope that certain people our age have the toughness to understand that we can't be making these knee-jerk reactions with our society. We need to stick to our principles.
Right.
We need to stick to our guns. We got to defend our art. You know, to bring this whole thing into context where I've been going kind of beating down this door.
But sometimes the Zoomers do it in such a bitch way.
Dude, but they're little kids. They're bitches. They're children. They're not even adults yet. They just turned 19. I don't care if you can vote or not. You're not an adult at 19. You're still a child. You ain't an adult until your mid-20s.
Yeah.
Right? Your prefrontal cortex has
But they're
to
all
finish
smart
developing.
as fuck, though.
Man, they're fucking smart. And they don't fall for the bullshit
No.
like we do.
Yeah.
They laugh at us.
Yeah.
They laugh at us, dude. They
Who laughs
invented
at us?
Okay Boomer.
Uh-huh.
Like,
My
they
daughter
invented
says that all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
boomer.
so do
I'm
my-
like, I'm
so do
fucking
my
Gen X.
kids.
No, you're a boomer.
You're a boomer.
My kids call me a boomer. I don't think I'm a boomer.
You're a boomer.
Am I a boomer?
You're all boomers.
First
Here's
time
the
they
thing is,
first
you're
time
not-
they said it, I'm like, what the fuck?
You're
What's a
not
boomer.
boomers. You're not boomers are literally baby boomers, but you're both boomers because you're
Close
both
enough.
fucking old.
I'm only 1 year off, so yeah.
They
Might as
have
well
a
be.
word for that where you're like at the end of
Transition.
one thing, at the
Yeah.
beginning of the next thing. There's a word for that. I can't
You were
remember
born
what it
in
was.
65.
I'm an ex-boomer.
Yeah, you got to be born in
You were
65.
born in 65.
Yeah, 66 was Gen X. Boomers went to, 65. Sorry, was started Gen X. But there's overlap, so
Yeah,
they
exactly.
literally make it overlap.
Because the way I look at it is I look at it in a rolling 4-year run. So meaning, if you would have been a senior while I was in freshman, we're in the same generation. Because we listened to the same music, the same movies. We were trying to fuck the same girls. We probably, if I was good enough and he's a senior, I might have even been on his sports team.
Yeah.
If he sucked as a senior, he was on JV with me. You know what I mean? Like there's so many correlations in that 4-year rolling period. That's how I measure things.
Right.
Like, and I actually extend it to a 5-year age gap. Like we're the same age. Like a 35, 36-year-old man to a 40-year-old, dude, we're the same age.
Right.
Me to a 30-year-old, like, dude, we're the same age.
I don't
But a
ca-
30 to a 40-year-old's not the same age.
I don't care what people say. I still say the 80s was the best time for music, movies, toys, and schools. Those top 4 things. I mean,
I don't know. I had some good toys in the
Where
70s.
the fuck did schools come from in that list? I was with you, and then you were like, and schools.
no, I
Because
remember
the
when I
textbooks
was
in social studies
No.
were immaculate.
no,
They
I
were
remember
fantastic. Gym class and the
elementary-
short shorts.
elementary and middle school. Those were my highlight of my youth.
Yeah, that's everyone's highlight of the
No,
youth is
no,
elementary
no,
and
no,
middle
no,
school.
no.
No
Not
one
like
says the
this.
highlight of their youth wasn't elementary or middle school.
that's
No one ever.
Pre trying to get laid.
Yeah, dude. What the fuck are you talking
I'm
about right
talking
now?
about how I see my kids' school today compared to when I went to school.
Yeah, that's
And-
every parent ever in the history of parents. Back in my day.
It was a great time to be a kid, you know, and it didn't matter anything that appeased to kids or what kids did was to me just that extra special, whether it be sports, like when I played Little League Baseball.
We did have this
Just
endorphin
today-
release because remember, like you said, you started this conversation when you were a kid. We left in the morning, summer vacation, I assume we're talking about. I was gone. I woke up. I didn't even shower. I'm a little kid. I'm 8 to 11 years old. You wake up. You don't fucking shower. Maybe if you're disciplined enough, you brush your teeth. You leave. Maybe you grab a banana or something on the way out the door. You run to your friend's house, or you run to the baseball field, or
and
you
you're
run
there
to the
till
park,
late night.
and you didn't fucking come home.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you literally had to get called home to eat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
hey,
Yep.
you have to come home and eat lunch, and then you can go back out and play.
Got up early, watched your cartoons, and then went to your
Yeah.
friends and gone all day long.
Gone all
Yep.
day.
And now we have to get like motivated to figure out ways to get these kids out of the house.
And when they do, they got the like implant trackers on them and all that. So.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. Like that shit changed the world too, because I was a kid when Jacob Wetterling got abducted, and that was a Minnesota thing, and that's the first time parents got paranoid about letting their kids go do anything.
Yeah,
it really was.
Yeah,
I mean, kids have gotten abducted before that, but not national news coverage where parents got paranoid.
I remember going to the park when I
At
was
least not in the Midwest.
I think I was, I don't know, kindergarten maybe. And
Do you guys know
I
they
go
found
to the
that?
park.
They solved that, by the way.
Yeah.
The Wetterling thing. Do
Yeah,
you guys remember
yeah.
that?
So I go to the park, and this is in California, and there's guys who are doing the lawn out there. They're getting all the weeds and stuff. Mexican guys, and he'd give me money and say, "Oh, go get the." He'd give me money to get him and me an ice cream. Never thought once about it. It was just like that. It was safe.
Yep.
Those were times that I remember. Those
It's
were
funny
good
because I've
times.
done that a couple times for the neighbor kids across the street. Like the ice cream truck comes by, and I know their parents are working and shit, and like I see little Jordan out there playing and shit,
Yeah.
and I'll fucking run over and I'll give him $5, and I'll be like, "Go grab you and your little sister something." I don't fucking go buy him ice cream and walk
Yeah,
over like a
yeah.
creeper and shit, because I understand there's those weird social
Right.
boundaries, but I also know that family and we're super tight.
Yeah.
So I'll give Jordan $5, and I'll be like, "Go fucking buy an ice cream." cream. It's hot out, dude. You got to be a kid, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, 80s movies is one of the reasons why I fell in love with movies.
Oh yeah.
And I remember
there was something special about that time. I feel like that was the renaissance of pop culture.
Which movie it is. It's my favorite movie today, and it was Raiders of the Lost Ark.
You asked that question earlier.
I just watched that.
That is my all-time favorite movie. And that's the movie that made me fall in love with movies because it's a straight-up adventure film that's fun from beginning to end. Yeah. And I mean, there's so many more in the 80s too. I mean,
did you ask me this question on the last podcast? Or did you ask me this before or after? Because I feel like I answered this question to you, but I can't remember if it was on the podcast or not.
What question? My favorite movie?
My favorite. You asked me my favorite movie.
Yeah. I told you mine.
Did you? Because you
Stargate and
Stargate.
Yeah.
Stargate is his favorite movie, people.
It's a pretty great
Sci-fi
movie.
nerd.
I can't.
Stargate.
I don't know that I could nail it down to a specific
with James
movie.
Spader.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could name.
Spader.
But there was 2 trilogies specifically. It was the Ninja Turtles trilogy, the live action trilogy.
Third sucked. Good.
And Back to the Future.
Back to the Future, awesome.
Yep.
Specifically, it was actually, if I had to
Indiana
nail it
Jones.
down and narrow it down, it's the sequels.
Yeah.
So it was Secret of the Ooze
Okay.
and Back to the Future 2.
Yeah.
Those were specifically my 2 favorite movies. But there's dude, I don't even know if I could do a favorite movie of all time.
I have a top 5.
I don't even know if I could name
Raiders of the
top
Lost Ark's
5.
number 1.
Yeah.
How?
Number 2
How
is
do you
Braveheart.
nail one movie?
Because
it's not like a band.
So because of me, the way I look at films is different from everybody else, just like everybody else is different from everybody else. When I watch a movie like Raiders or Back to the Future or Jaws, and this happens to everybody, instantly brings you back to your childhood. Okay? And you remember what it was like when you were a kid to see something like that on a big screen. Okay? Now, I saw Raiders for the first time in the theater in 84 because they re-released it because it came out in 80 or 81. So they re-released it, and that's where I saw it. And I had seen movies in the theater before that, obviously, but nothing of that scale. That's why I love Steven Spielberg. I think he is one of the top 3 directors of all time, no matter who you hold him up to. But it's not just that movie, it's others like Gremlins and Back to the Future and Fast Times at Ridgemont High and all these classic movies that you remember. I remember when I was 8 years old, I saw Breakfast Club for the first time at 8, you know?
Sure.
I remember, and it's also the experiences too. Like, for instance, Beverly Hills Cop. I remember my uncle let me watch that and told me not to tell my parents. Same thing with Predator, you know?
Right.
I remember when Terminator 2 came out, and I was that came out in 91, so I was 13 at the time. And my folks were really strict about me seeing R-rated films in the theater. And I wanted to see
definitely
Terminator 2.
an 80s baby. I wanted Satanic Panic. You remember that whole thing?
And I wanted to see Terminator 2 so bad. So I told my mom, like, hey, I'm going to go see Naked Gun 2.5 because that had just come out. So I went and saw Terminator 2. But the reason why that movie's so special is because, I'm not even kidding, not even 2 weeks later, my mom's setting up a trip to go visit my grandparents in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And we lived in Ohio. And when we got there, my uncle's like, hey, I'm going to take you to a movie. Your mom said it was cool. I was like, well, what are you going to go see? Terminator 2. Well, I had already seen it. But I thought that it was really cool that my uncle was always there to introduce me to he introduced me to Alien. He introduced me to Animal House. He introduced me to Caddyshack. He introduced me to he also introduced me to well, the movie's shit, but Dune with Sting. The movie's fucking terrible. But he had like lasers. So anyway, so that's why when I watch a specific film, I get a specific nostalgia feeling. And now when I watch movies today that come out, I'm more critical of films today because I hold them to that 80s standard.
Oh yeah.
Where the 80s standard was when you went to go see a film, you were lost in the film.
Yeah.
You were a part of that. E.T.
However,
things like that.
Let's admit, though,
Yeah.
the acting was trash in the 80s.
Not all.
Not all, but
But a lot of these movies we're talking about.
Some
But
of
see,
them.
that's the thing. That's
like
why
Harrison Ford wasn't good at acting in the 80s.
Nah, he
The
had his
Star
role
Wars-
in Witness
the
where he
Star
got an
Wars
Oscar
movies,
nomination.
The Star Wars movies, the acting is terrible.
Because George Lucas can't write dialogue
There
for
you
shit.
go.
Fucking or movies are made on the editing room
But
floor.
when, but when you're a kid, but when you're a kid though, do you really look at that stuff? I
No,
didn't.
but
I never
when I
did.
look
You know?
back, so
No.
when I look at because I hear this a lot, right? Like 80s movies and 80s music was the best. Well, here's how I determine whether something's the best. Does it hold up over time?
Oh yeah, it does.
Here's the thing. The original Star Wars only hold up over time because of two things. The nostalgia, number one, and the storytelling, number two, in that order. Now, look at a Michael Jackson on a music level. Listen to Thriller, and it sounds like it was recorded. Not just the sound quality, but the songwriting, the relevance, the hipness.
Right.
The
Quincy Jones. Sorry.
dude, here.
Sorry.
Fine. Let's give Quincy Jones the props he deserves for Michael Jackson's hit songs. But let's not take away from what Mike was writing. He wrote Billie Jean, not Quincy Jones. You follow me? Like Metallica, listen to Master of Puppets. Listen to Injustice for All. Even though the quality and the technology and the mixing isn't that great, that music is still just as sophisticated and relevant today as it was back then.
Do you know Thriller's still on the top 200 Billboard even to this day?
Not even fucking remotely surprised.
Wow.
That's how
crazy?
relevant that shit is.
I am surprised.
I'm not even.
crazy.
I mean,
Yeah.
it is crazy, but
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Hmm.
So when I go back and I look at those movies, it's hard for me to say that those movies are the best.
Yeah.
Whereas you can look at a Godfather or a Scarface, and you can say specifically the sequel to Godfather, another sequel.
Which I think is better than the original.
Most people do. It's the only one that. It's the only sequel that's ever won Best Picture, if I remember correct.
I think you're right.
I believe that is correct. But regardless, where I'm going, and I just thought that was a coincidence that that's also a sequel. Whereas the two I mentioned, right? Secret of the Ooze, cheesy movie, Back to the Future 2. The difference is with Back to the Future 2, and if I had to say I had one favorite movie, I think it would be that one because the acting is great, the storytelling is great, the continuity between the three movies is great. Like it set the standard for all time travel logic and has been referenced in literally the most recent fucking blockbuster of all time, Endgame. Like they literally reference Back to the Future time travel logic in that movie. That's how relevant that was. You go back and you watch that movie now, and it doesn't matter that it was made in the 80s. The technology, the graphics, the fucking, you see what I'm, the CG, all of it, the acting, the storytelling, it was all there. If I had to pick one, it would probably be Back to the Future 2.
Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters has far better visual effects than Back to the Future. I'm
See,
sorry.
that's where I think it doesn't hold up because the graphics and the fucking, it was good, but it doesn't hold up. It's
I think it
cheesy.
does.
Like I see the
What do you
cheese.
think? What do you think?
Yeah, what do you think?
So,
Because we
like
could
my
sit here
own
for
idea?
12 hours and never
my
settle.
own?
Say that again.
My own idea about the
or
best?
or just the definition
No.
of like how we're describing what like.
Well,
Like, do you think Ghostbusters visual effects in '84 hold up today?
Well, even going back to that, is 80s movies
Now, what-
truly
hold on.
great?
yes.
I'm sorry. Before you go on, I just want to make it clear. My idea of my favorite movies are broken into different categories. I have 80s childhood nostalgia films.
Yep.
90s, now I'm getting interested in the technique of filmmaking. Then 2000s, now it's pretty much like, how much fucking money did you throw at that one?
Right.
And is it a piece of garbage?
Yeah.
So I'm sorry.
No, I think about Star Wars, right? Came out what, 76?
70s.
77?
Yeah, 76. No,
76 or
Yeah.
77.
So I
yeah.
left the country at 76 and went to Japan. And
Good for
in
you.
79, I was a Navy brat.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in 79, I believe it was 79, a movie came out that really set the bar for me personally. And I'd never seen Star Wars to this point. And
Dude, you got to start watching more movies. man.
well, no, we didn't have it in Japan. It just never.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In 79?
Well, I mean, I never saw it, right?
Oh,
So I
gotcha,
was too
gotcha.
young to go. But my parents finally let me go, and I went to the theater by myself, Japanese theater. I was in there to watch this movie this thing. So it's in English, no subtitles or anything in Japan, 79. And this thing, I was convinced walking out of there that this was pretty much real. And that was Alien. Because that movie, the way they didn't try to overdo all of the graphics in the Alien and the ship and everything, made it more believable. Like this was really happening out in space somewhere.
It was the art of suspense filmmaking.
Yeah,
Sure.
and I was just, and of course, I was white knuckled the whole time. Walking home was a trip, but yeah,
That's interesting because
that movie was
Let me ask you
over
something.
the top.
Which one do you like better, Alien or Aliens?
Oh, Aliens for sure.
Good choice.
yeah, that's another one where the sequel was better
Better
than
than
the
the
original.
original.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and it was weird because the 80s did have this run on sequels where
Yeah.
sequels were actually good. Now sequels suck.
Mhm.
But when it comes to like straight up artistic filmmaking,
Yeah.
like one could easily argue that the horror films of the 70s was the golden age of movies, right?
Mhm.
So this is such an opinionated argument.
Yeah.
I honestly just kind of default to like I think the best movies that have been made are now. Like because now the fucking visual effects are unless
Perfect.
they want you to like Ready
Right.
Player One.
Yeah.
They intentionally cartoonized
Yes.
the avatars that those guys were in, right?
Yep.
Like it was obvious that it was CG because it was supposed to be CG because it was supposed to be a video game.
Mhm.
But if they want to make shit look real, like fucking Avengers,
Yeah.
even the original fucking Iron Man from
Mhm.
this version of Marvel,
Mhm.
like technology is finally caught up
Yeah.
to where they can do whatever the fuck they
Pretty
want.
much do.
They're
anything.
just the problem is there seems to be a creative liberty, and I think we touched on this on the last podcast, or at least if not, we talked about it before, or I was talking to somebody else, where there seems to be less of a creative liberty now because it's so much more important. They're investing so much, needing that return to sell box office tickets
Right.
is so fucking crucial. Whereas back in the 70s, they could experiment and get more into the art.
Yeah.
You know, the Stanley Kubricks, the fucking, I mean, fuck, man, even the Stephen Kings, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like they would set up these shots and they would fucking invest time into like moments. Like the Coen brothers are probably the closest modern day thing you can find to 70s filmmaking, where they'd have these long
Or Tarantino.
Sure.
Tarantino.
But
Yeah.
long panning wide shots where they don't need dialogue to
Right.
push the story.
Mm.
And it takes an immense amount of equity as a Tarantino or the Coen brothers to get a studio to give you that luxury to do that.
Right.
That's why I'm intrigued about this idea of doing these independent films,
Mhm.
because now is definitely the golden age of television.
Mm.
Would you guys agree with that, at least?
No. I think the golden age of television has passed us.
Come on.
Well, when you look at the TV shows that have come out in the last 20 years, okay, let's list them. Some of them I never watched, but they made a big cultural impact, okay? You had Game of Thrones, you had Sopranos, you had Breaking Bad, you
Sons
had
of Anarchy.
Sons of
Oz.
Anarchy, Oz,
The Wire.
The Wire, Sex and the City, ER, that was a big one.
ER was.
Well,
Yeah, but you're branching into network television.
but still, it's part of television, you know.
Yeah.
True.
Because Breaking Bad
Fair.
technically is still part of television. It's just on AMC, and they've
But
got
it wasn't network television.
it
cable.
wasn't, but you could still get it pretty easily. You don't have to buy a subscription like HBO to see their shows. You know what I mean?
But you did have
but
to
then-
pay for cable.
Right.
Yeah.
But now we're starting to see some good shows come out. Some original ones like Barry with
Yeah.
Barry's a good one. What's his fucking name again?
Fuck. I'm a huge fan of this
Did
dude.
You'd recognize him if you saw him. He's a guy
He's
who
from SNL. He's
Yeah.
the tall, super
Bill
tall
Hader.
guy. Bill Hader.
Bill Hader.
Oh.
He plays a guy who wants to act in LA, but he's a hitman at the same time. So
Yeah,
Uh,
and he's trying to get out of the hitman life.
Oh.
and going
get
acting.
into acting.
It's a great show. You know,
That's a good crossover.
they have original stuff coming out, which
Okay.
is very interesting. And then they also have miniseries, you know, like Outsider that I just watched, which
Sure.
was very good. But I think the
You
Golden
finished
Age
that,
is
by the way.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
It's fucking amazing. And you know,
I thought the ending was a little weak,
well, you know, the book
just a little bit.
The book is close-ended.
What? Say that again.
He's going to try. Pause for this station identification.
Jump cut. Welcome back, guys. The book was closed. Fuck, that was a terrible jump.
See, that's what I've heard.
The
I've
book
heard
was close-ended, so I'm glad they opened it up. So the ending was supposed to be weak because they're going to do hopefully a second
they
season.
had that hidden or that extra scene after the credits of the last episode.
Yeah, that's not how the book ended. The book
I know.
ended like exactly where it should have ended in the show, but
I'm going to start reading the book because
it was
usually
so good.
I wanted to read
Do you
that
know what
book
we're
a
talking
year
about?
ago.
Do you know what we're talking about?
Not a clue. I'm just nodding and saying.
So when you first sat down,
Yeah.
we were talking about Jason Bateman, and I mentioned the Ellen thing.
Mm-hmm.
Jason
Ellen.
Bateman basically got the rights to do a Stephen King book called The Outsider, and they did it was gonna be a mini series, but it was so fucking popular.
Yeah,
it was clear and obvious that they like did a reshoot and added an alternative ending so they could do a second season. Dude, it's just fucking really good.
It's a good show. It's a slow burn type of show.
Yeah.
But the direction, the way they made it,
You can't stop watching.
Wow.
You know, the camera angles and the camera tricks were very interesting, and that's what
The
surprised me
Outsider
about
with Jason Bateman on HBO.
That surprised me the first 2 episodes that Jason Bateman directed them, and he did a stand-up job, man. I thought his directing was very good.
Yeah, he directed the first 2 episodes, I believe.
Yep, and it was a good show. I think it was 2 episodes too long. It should have been 8.
I disagree, but either way,
But,
that's neither here.
So that they have good stuff coming out today, but I think we've seen.
I mean, dude, they've
best
been
of the
killing
best.
it. I gotta disagree, man. Because, like, let's just look at HBO. Just keep it in one network. I mean, they have shows that kill it and don't even get a second season. Like, did you ever watch The Brink? Since you have HBO, obviously, that's in there. Go watch The Brink. It's with Jack Black and dude from Shawshank.
Oh shit.
Tim Robbins.
Tim Robbins.
Crush it. Fucking don't understand why they didn't get a second season. They have a show on there with Ted Danson and the dude who plays drums in that band that sang that song California. Not a clue. They were on fucking Jimmy Fallon or Leno back in the day or whatever it was. Fuck, I can't remember his fucking name. It's him, some other dude, and Ted Danson. That fucking show made it like 3 seasons. They got shut down because of the writer's strike back in the day.
Yeah.
That show crushed it. Like HBO crushes it. But but where I'm going with this is HBO's always crushed it, right? The reason I say we're in the golden age of television is because fucking now cable television is crushing it. Walking Dead, Breaking Bad, Sons of Anarchy, The Shield, which was like Sons of Anarchy with cops. All right.
What was that one with Dennis Leary? He was a firefighter.
Oh, Rescue Me.
Yeah,
Rescue Me. Yeah.
Amazing show. Cried my balls
I
out
watched
at
the
the
first season, and I intend to watch the rest. I just got off track. But
Guarantee you that one holds up. Like I was saying earlier, this is how I define if you made something great. Does it hold up 10, 15, 20 years later? That's what I'm getting at with this whole spiel. Is like, what holds up? Let's look at music. Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter that it sounds like it was recorded in the 70s. Sounds like it was also recorded today.
You know, we may be having a rebirth too of a golden age of TV when you consider Amazon's making original content, Hulu's making original
Sneaky
content,
Pete. Have you watched
Netflix
that one?
is making original content.
it's on my list of stuff to
You know,
watch.
all these.
That's an
Apple
Amazon
TV.
original.
Yeah,
Hey,
Apple
what's-
TV's doing.
What's
it.
that show?
Oh.
Do you have HBO?
I think we do have HBO
Doom
Max
Patrol.
right now.
Doom Patrol on HBO.
Oh.
Dude, this show, it's a superhero show,
Oh, yeah.
but it's for adults.
Oh,
Which is a great
superhero
one.
shows. You guys watch The Boys?
The Boys, yes.
I
thank
watched
you.
the first 2 episodes, and I kind of...
Give it another one.
Yeah.
Don't forget, you're the motherfucker who fell asleep during the Gladiator in the theater twice.
I didn't fall asleep to Gladiator twice.
Yes, you did. You told me this story when we were young. You did. And you didn't like it until you rented it, and then you were like, it's like one of the greatest movies ever made. But I walked on it. Yes, he did. Yes, he fucking did.
I almost fell
I like
asleep at Star
Gladiator.
Wars.
Nick
I
is
like-
infamous. Nick is infamous for making snap judgment decisions
Oh,
and
yeah.
being like, that movie sucks.
Yep.
And then like
Well,
a year
okay.
later, he gets it on DVD, and he's like,
So,
it's a great movie.
That's That's happened to me multiple times. I've watched a movie, but no, I'll watch a movie
Dude,
and I just won't like it.
He argued
for whatever reason.
For 3 minutes,
no.
he was like, "No, that's not true." He
You
was whispering.
said-
He was whispering. "No,
You
that's not
said
true.
I fell
That's not
asleep. I didn't fall asleep.
Yeah.
The first time, here's what happened. Here's Nick's story that he told me back in the day. I went and seen Gladiator in the theater. I walked out a half hour in and demanded my money back, and they wouldn't give it to me, so I was like, fuck that. And then everyone told me I was crazy, so I tried to go back and see it again, and I fucking fell asleep. That movie is goddamn boring. And then he got it on VHS, and he was like, this is the greatest movie of all time. Russell Crowe is breathtaking. DVD. See how he can only argue the format?
No,
Because the story I'm saying is 100% true.
I liked Gladiator the second time I saw it.
But the first time he didn't like it. No, but what were we going with this? You didn't like something else the very first time you saw it either.
There's a lot of shit that I've seen. That
Oh,
I
The
did
Boys.
not like it.
You were
The
2
Boys,
episodes in.
yeah.
Give
I was
it another go.
two episodes in. You know, I'll watch another two.
It
and
takes
see
a
how it
little
goes.
bit. You want to watch it in a little bit more because it gets really interesting.
The one I really am excited to
give it
watch
a
is
shot.
The Umbrella Academy.
Yes, thank you. That's a good
That shit, dude.
I watched the first season. I was like, "Is it over yet?
Oh no.
Is it over yet?" You know what Netflix show is awesome?
Hmm.
Daredevil.
That was okay.
That show is badass. Don't even. The third season was a little weak,
Okay.
but these long, drawn out, one take fight scenes that they had were just
yeah.
fucking awesome.
You
like
mean,
the-
yeah.
Like when the one where he
or
goes
zero
to
cut or whatever.
the house that's holding the kid, and they pan out down the hallways as he's fighting these guys, and he's throwing them in different rooms, and they're flying out of the rooms, and I was like, damn, that is some kick-ass fucking directing when it comes to fucking a fight sequence. That was badass. And it was like that throughout the series. They did that so many times. And the stories were really good, except, like I said, the third one was a little weak, but the second one was the best because it had the Punisher and his storyline, and I think that's the best superhero show on Netflix anyways. But I mean, there's been a lot of stuff that I've seen that I just hated, and then I watched it again and I liked it. It's even
I just finished watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That shit just wrapped up. Now, network television is cheesy. It's always cheesy.
You know what's cheesy but good? The Flash. And the last episode of the first season, I kid you not.
Wasn't it so good that kid got casted into the movies?
No. It's a different kid.
Oh, it is.
It was the last episode of the first season was so emotional. I swear, man, I shed a tear. I was like, this is some emotional shit.
Yeah.
And I never get that way when I watch a TV, especially a superhero show like that on the WB, you know, where it's actually pretty good. In the last episode, and the only reason I watched it was because I'm a big fan of Kevin Smith.
Do you guys like
Kevin
bad
Smith-
TV?
Who?
Huh?
Like you mentioned cheesy TV,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
You were like, it's cheesy, but it's good. You said The Flash. Do you guys watch bad TV?
Oh yeah.
Like
Like-
not reality
Oh,
TV,
yeah.
but just like shows that like aren't actually
What we
good.
do in the shadows. Awesome.
That is not bad TV.
I
That
think
is
it is.
that is great, brilliant, genius
What
over
is
the
it?
top TV
Never heard
What
of
we
it.
do in the shadows.
disguised as
Yes.
bad TV.
Yes, it's like a reality show for vampires.
Yes.
what channel is
It's-
that on?
So
What is it on?
I think it got picked up by HBO or Showtime.
No, it's it's on one of the like Hulu or whatever. Yeah, one of those.
What is it
guys.
called again?
It's called What We Do in the Shadows, and
Yes.
there's a spin-off of it, and I think it's on HBO. Okay, so it's basically like The Office,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
with vampires.
Okay.
And it's fucking
It is hilarious.
hilarious, dude. So if
Yeah.
you don't get into the Parks and Rec Office style humor, just don't even bother. But if you get that and you appreciate that style of filmmaking, I guess you
Humor?
would say.
Humor as well.
But it's not just the humor, it's the style of the way it's shot and the whole vibe. What We Do in the Shadows is one of the most brilliant things. No,
Yeah.
but is what I meant by bad TV, actual
Right.
bad. Because here's the
Actual.
thing is, just like The Office, it's actually brilliant
Mhm.
and progressively genius, disguised as bad TV
Right.
and disguised as awkward and disguised as bad acting.
Yep.
No, I'm talking actual
Okay.
bad TV.
Have
The
you-
What's an
100.
example?
The 100.
The 100.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, the ones that fall from space and still survive. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you heard of this, Nick?
Yes, I
Yeah.
have.
I can't stop watching it. I'm hooked. I've been hooked.
It's
I've
great.
been hooked I think I found the first season on Netflix.
Yeah.
Right? And the premise is, in a post-apocalyptic world, the remaining vestiges of human society is surviving in an orbiting space station.
Mm-hmm.
They're low on oxygen.
Yeah.
Right? And they need to decrease their population by 100 people in order to survive.
Mm-hmm.
So they decide they're going to take 100 prisoners who happen to also be basically teenagers.
Yeah.
And send them down to Earth. Normally they would do what's called floating them. So the death sentence in space is they just send them out into space.
Mm-hmm.
It's called floating. But instead of just floating these 100 kids on a death sentence that they don't deserve, they're going to use them as an experiment and see if the ground is habitable. So they send them back down to Earth. And Earth was no longer habitable because of a nuclear war.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And when they get down there, not only is the Earth habitable, but there's like mutated animals and all kinds of other crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, here's the thing. Like, the premise is brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
The concept is dope. It's right up my alley. Post-apocalyptic, fucking, you know what I mean? The whole deal.
But the execution's poor.
The acting is so fucking bad.
Yeah.
It's so cheesy. And in that first season, the fucking CGI is embarrassingly bad.
Yeah.
And the writing is really bad. And the dialogue is really bad. And the character, it's so bad. But it's also so good. So good. And now they're on like season 7.
Oh yeah, they're
8.
way up there. It's crazy.
Shit.
Yeah.
And
They just
it's
keep going.
slowly gotten better.
Oh, yeah.
Like every season. And now it's like a legit show.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far dude, they jumped the shark like 9 episodes into the first season. And somehow it actually got better.
Mm-hmm.
Their budget increased.
Yep.
The acting got better by the actual people in the show. The directing, the filmmaking, the cinematography, I mean.
Yeah.
The writing, the dialogue, everything keeps getting better. And it gets more believable. The farther they've jumped the shark and the more they get into like the insanity, the more realistic it becomes.
They must have pulled hoops not to get canceled.
I don't think so. It's that weird cult following of like CW shows, WB shows. Like there's this weird underground Comic-Con following of this show.
Who streams it or who distributes it?
I don't know. I get it on. I think you can get it on Netflix now.
Yeah.
I know people. It used to be on Netflix. It might have moved, but I just watch it. Like I have it on my fucking DVR, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's oh dude. It reminds me of like a really the way people love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like what's that other one that's in space? The one on Amazon.
It's in space.
The Expanse.
Yes, that one, dude. Have
2
you watched The
seasons,
Expanse?
Got picked up by Amazon.
Yeah, because Sci-Fi Channel
Sci-Fi
or
had
whoever wanted to cancel it.
Yeah, they dumped
and
it.
Amazon,
They
Jeff
dump everything.
Bezos and all of his genius was like, yeah, we're picking that one up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Expanse, dude.
Yeah.
That's a slow burner.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, if you can like figure out it's like
CW.
Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
If you can figure out a way to get through that first season,
Mm-hmm.
start over.
Yeah.
And once you like get it, it's like Game of Thrones. It's so deep that once you understand The Expanse, dude, that's we're talking like
100's on CW and I think it's on Hulu as well.
Oh, okay.
or Netflix. But dude,
or
it's
Netflix,
it's terrible.
It's one of those two.
Well, dudes, listen, we've been going for almost 3.5 hours. You boys ready to wrap this up? Is there anything else you guys want to cover? Is there anything else you guys want to rap about?
Well, I mean, there's that whole coming out of the closet for me.
You get a twofer. I got to do mine too. So why don't you go first?
You got to talk about your girlfriend and how
Yeah,
she's going to be
yeah.
reacting to this, boys.
So my girlfriend turned out to be a guy, and I was as surprised as him.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No,
We're not
I-
judging here.
I think you again. It was cool to sit and just bullshit.
Yeah.
Usually I would end my thing with giving a couple of reviews of some flicks, but I haven't really seen anything new worth talking about.
That's the problem with trying to like do anything like that right now.
Yeah, nothing's going on.
There's no content.
There's nothing.
All I can say is go back and watch Stand By Me again. Great film.
You know what you should do?
American Sniper.
You should start a review channel of this channel and just talk shit about all the podcasts.
There you go. Yeah.
So every time I put out a podcast,
Yeah.
you do a review of that podcast and just explain how
podcast of a
horrible it
podcast.
was.
We could do the review. I'm gonna do a reaction video to it.
You do the reaction. Yep, with the faces.
Actually,
yep, you
you
do
know
a
what?
reaction and how offended you are, and then you do a review and talk about how bad it is.
There
I
you
take that back. There's 3 films I've seen over the last 3 months that I can quickly
Okay.
recommend. One of them, Richard Jewell, Clint Eastwood's latest film, which is probably one of Clint Eastwood's best, about the guy who saved the people in the 96 Olympics and then was accused of putting the bomb there and things like that. It's pretty good. The other one was Relic. It's an independent horror film.
Yeah.
I think I've seen that.
Yeah, it's in my watch list.
Is
I
that
haven't
on
watched
Netflix?
it.
It's on.
It's been in there for like 6 months.
I think it's on Netflix.
I think I've seen
Not
it.
The Relic. Just want to make clear. There's a movie called Relic and
Right.
then The Relic.
Yep.
Not The Relic. Relic. It's an independent horror film that it was made by a woman, and I can't remember her name. It was her directorial debut. And it just came out this year, and it's so good. The way all the symbolism and foreshadowing in the film, you can actually see it any way you want to. You can either see it as a drama or a horror or a thriller. So I like those films where I get at the end of the film, I get to make my own interpretation of what I just watched, which is great. So it's called Relic, great film. And then the other one that I saw, I don't know if I mentioned this on the podcast last time, but when I was really sick about a month and a half ago, I watched a movie called Ruby Sparks. It's directed by the folks who directed Little Miss Sunshine. And it's the story of a writer who hasn't had a hit book since he was a teenager. And then he creates a woman on paper that he dreams about every night, and she becomes real. And great premise, great story, great acting.
Sounds like Weird Science.
Little quirky in the middle.
Weird Science, great movie. Holy fuck, dude. You just talk about 80s, baby. Not to cut you off.
What's the woman's name in the movie? Can you tell me?
Gina?
No, her real name in real life.
Oh, I can't fucking remember.
Can you? No, what the fuck is the matter with you, Johnny?
I don't remember names.
Kelly LeBrock.
I was
I don't
3.
even know your name.
I was 3 when that movie came out.
But you've seen it. How
He
many times have
doesn't
you
know
seen
your
it?
name, and I was 3.
How many times have you seen that movie?
4 times.
4 times, and you don't know the woman's name. You've read it 4 times on the screen. When her name comes up, you don't know what her name is.
You're goddamn right I don't fucking remember. You know, because the last time I watched that movie, I was 14.
I was
That was
40.
20 years ago.
I watched it 2 years ago.
Oh, nice.
I'm like him. I watch movies a lot that I've already seen.
Yeah, me too. Although I do series too. Like I just watched Stargate SG-1.
There's Stargate again.
for the
The
fifth
fuck's with you in Stargate, bro?
time.
It's a great flick.
What the
no,
fuck?
Dude,
no,
you wanna know
the
a weird-
series. All 10
Yeah, no,
years of it.
the show is a
Yeah,
great show. It's
yeah.
one of the first. It's one of the first movies to get its own spin-off show.
Yeah.
You know, a weird little sneaky pick for a decent fucking like I guess you could call it an independent movie or Netflix original. They're calling it, right?
Mhm.
It's called Fractal,
Mm.
and it's about these I don't want to ruin it. Just watch it. It's called Fractal. Fractal. It's fucking cool, dude. Like it's
All right.
it's a cool movie. Like
It's fucking cool.
I swear to God, if I say anything else about it, I'll like somehow
I trust
spoil
your
it or
judgment. You
ruin
told
it.
me about The Outsider.
I'm also thinking about the listeners too, though.
Oh,
Right?
yeah, no.
Like I feel like if I say anything about the movie, I'll
Yeah.
ruin the premise
Yeah.
because I don't feel like I could tell you the premise without spoiling it.
Yeah.
They did a better
Okay.
job in their little paragraph description, whatever you call that. The fuck, what's that called? The
Teaser.
tagline.
Yeah,
The tagline.
Yeah.
They do a really good job in their tagline without spoiling it.
Mm.
Me, not so much. I would definitely fuck.
Do you
it.
like
You were on like number 2, and you were getting the third one, I think.
Yeah, and then you
Oh.
rudely interrupted him with weird science.
I know. I
You
threw him off. With
rude
weird science.
son
You
of
were
a
talking about
bitch.
making a woman. A movie about making a woman.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
Ruby Sparks. That was
Ruby
the third
Sparks.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah, and there was another one.
no, it was those.
Oh, that
Yeah,
was
it was
it.
those
Ruby
two.
Ruby
It was those
Sparks,
two.
Relic,
Oh, okay.
and Richard
I
Jewell.
thought Oh, okay. I swear he said Dune. Don't tell him I like.
No, he said Dune at the beginning.
Yeah,
He
don't
was
tell
saying
him I
Dune.
like Dune.
I hated Dune. I think it's one of the worst movies ever.
All right, Steve, if people are interested in checking out your show because they are starved for content,
Yeah.
as awkward and as weird as it is.
Yeah. So, I stream to like 8 different places. I stream to Facebook at scenesfromahat.com, YouTube scenesfromahat.com, some Japanese site called FC2. I don't know. It's got porn, so whatever. And
I'm sold.
Yeah, 2 different YouTube channels, all over the place. So, yeah. No, I don't watch the porn. But I just
This is the
stream to it.
worst self-plug I've ever
I
heard
know,
in my
right?
life. Nick, you got
So-
your shit together with your movie reviews yet?
I
Are you still doing the Facebook thing?
Yeah, I
okay,
still
where
do
can people read your Facebook?
Facebook reviewsforyou.com.
Reviews for you,
reviews
not a
for-
number.
okay.
Not the number 4 FOR.
Yeah.
I took a hiatus for a little while and came back, and I've been doing it more frequently now.
Cool.
It's getting harder to watch movies now.
Yeah,
or
you're gonna have
new
to
ones.
pivot to TV shows or something.
Yeah.
Well, I do that at times, and I just did The Outsider. I just did a review for The Outsider. on there.
Fucking
I'm gonna
fantastic,
watch
dude.
that.
So-
I'm
No,
telling you,
yeah.
dude,
It's
The
good.
Outsider is one of the
Yeah.
best things to come out
That's what I was gonna
in the
write
last 2 years. It has to be. It's that fucking good, dude. I'm telling you, man. It's just
remember, it's
down. I want good reviews. I want honest reviews, so I can find something new to watch.
I mean, and that's the thing is like music reviews are subjective, like music, right?
Sure.
Like you might not always agree with Nick's review,
Mhm.
but he's gonna give you his honest assessment of it.
Yeah.
And some of the listeners, some people out there might be starving for exactly his opinion because they agree with everything he says. I don't always disagree with Nick, but when we do, I think he's out of his fucking mind. But here's the point is I figured out when Nick says a movie sucks, I might actually love it.
Yeah.
That's what I realized. Like, because he's not always wrong, but he's not always right. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's a style thing, and it's still worth hearing out his opinion on some of this shit because it helps me realize, like, oh fuck, man, I might actually like that movie.
Facebook.
That's it.
There you go, boys. Anything else?
I was gonna say something, but I forgot. Peace out.
All right, that's number 11, boys. Well, this is
Cool.
fucking fun. Thank you guys. Cheers.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me down. You can't cheers with water. That's bad luck, you fuck.
Oh shit.
You got a Mountain Dew there?
I'll do Mountain Dew. How's that?
Fucking gypsy son of a bitch. I can say that my grandmother's Hungarian.
The funniest thing Jared ever said. His grandmother brought him a souvenir from Israel, and he said, "Oh, am I getting my juvenile?"
That's true. No, and I did say that, but that's not.
Every time I think of it, it makes me crack up.
That's true. I did say that, but that's not the way the joke went down.
Well, I was in such a bad mood that day. I wasn't feeling well. He said that, brightened up my day.
We were at like a football game or Christmas or Thanksgiving or something, but the football was being played.
It's Thanksgiving.
And she came home from Israel on this trip, and she was handing out souvenirs, and they were really thoughtful. Like, she didn't buy just shitty souvenirs. Like, they were really thoughtful. And I don't know, man. There's just something about, like, I get in these moods, and I just, like, every once in a while just have these one-liners, and I walked out. And I was like, hey, have you guys gone and talked to Grandma? And everyone looks at me like I'm insane. And I hold up this bracelet, and it's got the cross on it, you know? And it's like a cross. It's a mixture between, like, those rosary beads and like, just a bracelet, right?
Mm.
It's so bizarre to try to explain this thing. And I was like, yeah, Grandma's handing out juvenirs. And fucking Nick started laughing so hard. And the rest of the room, my family, looks at me like, did he just say? And then you could see the look on their face. They were first shocked, and then they started laughing their asses out. You should tell one more story before we go. Do you remember when we were at Old Country Buffet?
Oh my God! Okay.
Oh, boy.
All right. All he's got to say is Old Country Buffet.
All right.
So we're there with like 4 other guys. Okay, we're just chilling. We're
I
having.
think it was the
whatever
band.
We were
I
just
think it
chilling.
was a
I think
version
it
of our
was.
band.
I think it was.
Yeah.
And we were just chilling, eating, and he just, I don't know, out of nowhere was just like, "Hey, does anybody bet me $5 that
No. You offered me $20.
Oh yeah, I offered him $20 if he would get up from the table, go over to the buffet, drop on the floor like he's having a seizure. And he thought about it for a little bit, okay? And then after a little while, I guess I just like kind of stopped waiting for an answer, so I just started eating. Next thing I know, we're all sitting there eating our thing, and all of a sudden you hear a cup go ging, 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 ging on the floor. We all turned around, and there's Jared flopping on the floor. Okay, hold on. And we're all like, holy fucking shit, is he really doing this right now? And that wasn't even the funniest part. The funniest part is when the manager came up and was like, somebody call 911. This man's having a seizure. And he gets down and he's all trying to find his wallet to put in his mouth and this and that. Shit. So I looked at the people I was sitting with. I was like, we need to get out of here. So we started to get up. We started to walk out. And then the manager again was like, did somebody call 911? And then he just gets up from the floor. And the guy's like, are you okay? He's like, I'm cool. And he just walked out.
That's 100% true, and that's actually a great dude. Yeah. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. Fuck, man. We're on number 11. It's a small celebration. I love you guys. Fucking have a good night.
Peace out.